Okay, that's fine. There'll be a VOD. People are busy. So, welcome to the, or if you're watching later, welcome back to the Exit to Eden tabletop RPG based on the setting of Space: The Infinite Edge. I am Ms. Chrysula. I will be the storyteller again this evening. And yeah, that's me. Who's next? Klaus, you're right next to me. Who are you?
Hi, I'm Dracus. I'm playing Klaus, who is a synth mage and also, guess a drug dealer, kind of a drug specialist. They identify things and can figure out how to, give people drugs without killing them, which is nice. Except that Presley is usually the one who ends up on the drugs, even if I'm not involved. So, yeah, that's that.
Whoops. Dune!
Right, I'm Dune. I'm a wolf blood, which in the system of the White Wolf RPG is something like werewolf light. Not quite as affected by the moon as a true werewolf. We do share some of the characteristics. The main difference is that werewolves are assholes. On the whole. There are some wolf blood assholes too, but there are not as many wolf blood assholes as there are werewolf assholes. So, on balance, we're much nicer.
There are some other differences between wolf bloods and werewolves, but, it's fine.
Details.
Details.
The important part is that we're not as big assholes as they are.
That's why there are so many wolf bloods in Eden City, because there are so few werewolves for some reason. Next, Petruchio.
Hey, I'm Maya. I'm playing Petruchio. He is like the sheltered son of some rich douche bitten by a vampire. His family told him to use his powers for greed, but he was like, no. Starting a space travel agency and fearing people need to get out of other systems. And yeah, he's the hacker of the group, sort of the boss.
Okay. Presley.
Hi, I am Sunburst. I play Presley, and she is the top salesman of Carve Travel, and unfortunately keeps ending up on drugs a lot.
The dark side of yes and.
Yes. Apparently Presley might have a bit of a problem.
It's only partially my fault, I swear.
Yeah. But yeah, she is a changeling.
And for those of you just joining us, we have a viewer. Hello, viewer.
Hello, viewer.
I swear I'm not constantly watching the viewer tally, I promise. For those of you just tuning in, we are working more or less with New World of Darkness / Chronicles of Darkness version of White Wolf games. White Wolf can't stop resetting its system and is addicted to acronyms, so these would be Lost Changelings, and Mage the Awakening, and Vampire the Requiem. So if you're here for some OWAD action, well, stick around, change is good. New flavors is nice. Sometimes it's fun being involved in a game where you haven't read every single book and supplement. I mean, which is how those of us who like Space: The Infinite Edge got into it initially. Oh, new stuff! Yes, please. So yeah. Is that all I had to say? Oh, so game is set exit to Eden. We are an Eden system. And specifically within that, the capital city, which is so creatively named Eden City.
IDUNN, not EDEN.
One N, but close enough. There are about 8 million ways to pronounce Eden. She's a goddess that takes care of the apple orchard of the Norse gods, so I like that pronunciation because it makes it punny.
Yeah.
No relation to that, Eden.
Yeah, of course not. Also, after Ragnarok, when there's only one god and 2 humans left, nothing to do with any other religion. Before or after. No, I'm sure it's fine. It's fine. Yeah. So if you like Viking references, this might be a very fun space cyberpunk supernatural game for you. Huzzah. Currently, all of our players are employed by Petruchio to run a legitimate travel agency for this spacey cyberpunk setting. But that is a cover for what is also an underground railroad. The Eden is an expanse system, which is not the center core where all the super rich and powerful people live. And it's not the Verge, which is where all the Firefly-style, down-on-their-luck frontiersman systems are. Expanse is nice in the middle, so it's had about 2 millennia of development into super cities. But about 50 years ago, after the war with an alien race known as the Silent, it became illegal to be a supernatural person in the core. Since then, Carve Tourism has started giving people a great excuse to get out of the core for vacation and just never go home because, they happen to be a vampire or a changeling or something entirely else. Who knows? Eden, unfortunately, at this point, the Expanse is also starting to get rather intolerant, and Eden system itself seems to be the last kind of area where you are not judged for your supernatural status if you are out about it. But many people, while there's technically no more veil because it's 41 something and all of the masquerades fell and broke down in 1700. This is since the founding of the first space colony, which was 1,000 years after they left Earth. It's a whole thing. But here in Eden, that kind of general, we want to be like the core, so let's be mean to Supernats. That's caught on. There are tons and tons of changelings, mages here and there, vampires here and there. Although, if the vampires are really doing their jobs well, you wouldn't know if they were there. They like controlling everything from behind the scenes. And for some reason, just not a whole lot of werewolves. Hence,
plenty of wolf bloods, though.
Yeah. Elsewhere on this planet, there are still farmland and forest and jungle, and many wolf packs rule there. And those places, it kind of sucks to be a wolf blood. So yeah, Eden City is kind of a weird place in the span of the rest of the Expanse. But they are right on the edge of the Verge, which makes them an ideal place to ferry people just trying to get the fuck away from the core. For whatever reason. Last week, I wrote too much plot for one game, but that just means I didn't have to write very much new stuff for today. Which is fantastic, because now it's summer in New York, and my brain hurts. Summer is awful. Last week, our heroes? Our protagonists. Because it's World of Darkness. Is anyone really a hero?
Heroes is making some assumptions.
Honestly, if I'm running World of Darkness to the best of its depth, hero becomes a very relative term. So let's go with protagonists.
Especially given the amount of times that Klaus has drugged the other party members.
I didn't do it last time, I swear.
And, Petruchio had to install a drug basically a blood, drug, alcohol level checker in the office. So, managers got to do what they've got to do.
I am not happy about this.
Sorry.
Like, damn it, now I have to change my whole schedule to level out in time for fun parties. Oh my God. Or alternately, just find excuses to do your job remotely. Not, like logging in from a computer, but, I have clients that we need to entertain while they're here.
Yeah, I can't help it.
It's a cyberpunk megacity. Of course the clubs and bars are open 24 hours a day. Like, duh.
Duh.
So yeah, our protagonists were enjoying a nice evening at their favorite local pub called Saga when a fight broke out when one of a random vampire just started raging out for no reason. And the reason turned out to be a particular newly discovered, possibly illicit substance. Does anyone want to recap quickly? Or maybe not too quickly. Does anyone want to recap what happened last week? Presley?
Okay, so I met this like really cute guy who is a changeling. He was named Rob. Yeah.
Rob.
And he gave me this drug that was like supposed to be really good for changelings. It was supposed to be like a really fun even high, but it really wasn't. I got like a really bad trip and I ended up in the hedge, but it wasn't really the hedge, but it was. So after that, I went back to work with like the massivest hangover, and everyone at work was like, yo, we really need to drug test now because that wasn't cool, you doing that at work. And I was like, I was just trying to help. So after that, we figure out that like a vampire is like just raging, and apparently it's because of like the same drug that I took. So we like called up Rob, who was like really cute, and we went to meet him, but then I got dosed like again with something else, and now we're like looking for the drugs to like find a lead on this person named Val, because apparently Val is the one that is really dealing the drug. So we got to find Val, and now we're gonna do this. Yeah.
Oh, and the place where Val is apparently called Grim, and it's supposed to be a club, but it's probably more of an opium den.
Yeah, y'all went to find Rob at a place called Crowbar, which was very much the standard, everyone's having fun, and this club is owned by a new organization pretty much every year. But it's fun, it's trendy, it's always fresh and new, and people are dancing, and in Presley's case, people are wandering by and sticking stickers to their foreheads that may or may not be laced with something less potent than what she had to deal with before. So, could be worse.
Also, Rob is not a changeling. He was, in fact, a fawn.
Well, he is a changeling, but changelings come in a lot of shapes and sizes. Lost changelings are not a natural occurrence like dreaming changelings. They are humans kidnapped by a kind of alien called the Thurazaz, or the True Fae, and then act like it's the ultimate in objectification because they've turned them into whatever they need that human to be for them, whatever kind of tool or helper or anything. In Rob's case, he got turned into a satyr. He was not super forthcoming as to why. So,
I mean, it's the kind of thing one discusses in polite company.
Oh my God, Karen, you can't just ask people why they're a changeling. Anywho, so yeah, y'all are heading, you were in Market Town, which is kind of like the meatpacking district before it got completely gentrified in New York. And now you are heading for Steel Town, which in this mega city is not gentrified and very rough and very downtrodden and full of lower class and not elites. As far away from the elite part of the city as one can get. And yeah, so oh, wait, I had notes about this. So yeah, are y'all making any pit stops or doing anything to reload or any checks or anything before you get to Grim?
Well, I'm like so hungry, so I'm probably gonna like pick a dragon fruit off a tree because I'm like so hungry.
Close. It appears that our changeling has been somewhat altered. If you could, in fact, make sure that it will not affect the performance yet again, I would be most grateful.
Understood. I guess I want to see if I can figure out what Pricely is on now and if I can counteract it at all.
Okay.
Make a roll at
my dice out.
For you, that would be a medicine check. But you're a rock star at that, so.
I am. Okay, is it a int medicine?
Yeah, wits, int medicine. That sounds good.
Could roll a 2, that would be nice. But then I add 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, sweet.
I have a 10.
Awesome! And you didn't roll a 1.
I didn't roll a 1. That's all I can ask, honestly.
Yes. Yeah. Again, for those of you just tuning in, we're using more or less the Mind's Eye Theater Blue Book of NWAD. So we reduced everything down to 1 D10 roll because having 800 D10s is, well, doesn't work for everyone.
Throwing lots of dice is fun, but this is way simpler.
Yeah. And forcing my players to suddenly buy tons of dice they haven't needed before is something I didn't want to do. So we went back to first ed, Mind's Eye White Wolf, why are you? Why are you, White Wolf? Why? All right, so you got a 10. Yeah, it looks like Pricely was given some kind of low I would say that you probably have your own medical scanner of some sort on you.
Probably.
Since this is kind of your old and new profession all smushed together. So yeah, it's pretty easy to just like beep, 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 beep. It looks like they're on some kind of low-grade stimulant. So not too bad. I don't believe I had made Pricely roll any penalties for this last game.
No.
So yeah,
like rolling 1s.
Okay, yeah. So this, yes. So basically, in this system, just don't roll a 1.
Yeah.
On a D10, just don't roll a 1, and you'll be fine. Or do roll a 1, and then I get to do fun stuff off the cuff. Woohoo!
It's scary.
Funny for you, not for us.
I'm not good at rolls, y'all.
Try to make it fun to fail, though.
Pricely was doing that a lot last game.
So many ones.
So many ones. So yeah, it shouldn't, but maybe like getting her a food would help level her out a little bit.
Okay. I'm just gonna say keep munching on that dragon fruit there, buddy. Or what is it called? It's not dragon fruit.
Goblin fruit.
Goblin fruit, that's it.
But there are several that look like dragon fruits. Another interesting factoid about Eden City. So goblin fruits are something that lost changelings usually grow in the hedge, and it helps them replenish their glamour. Some of them have their own unique powers that can be bestowed on whatever changeling eats them, and some are just like, it's glamour fruit. Except in Eden City, there are a whole lot of public parks with trees and shrubs that grow goblin fruit in the Mundi world. So there are compared to any other supernaturals, I think changelings outnumber the rest 10 to 1 because the glamour is fricking everywhere here. But that's fine. That's not at all suspicious.
Nothing weird about
it. Some systems just have weird shit going on, man, you know? So yeah, it's totally not unusual, and the city already has not scavenging. What is the word for foraging? Also already has laws, or rather, is like, we don't have any laws against foraging. Just you take it. That means we don't have to clean it up later.
Mhm.
So
Although goblin fruit is not exactly a good thing for a non-changeling. It does strange things to non-changelings.
sometimes
Don't
they
eat the
do,
goblin fruit unless you're sure of it.
which of course means local teenagers eat them indiscriminately all the time. Yeah, I would say it's only 1 out of 5 in the public parks that get someone into trouble. And it's really not hard to find a changeling to make friends with if you really just want a nice apple.
Yeah.
Because, so many changelings. And they're also happy here. Which isn't also not at all suspicious. This being lost. Of course you're allowed to be happy and lost. World of Darkness is just lovely. Alright. So yeah, it's very easy for Presley to forage and find, and you feel like you're leveling out a little bit. So you still feel like you're in a better mood than you were when you started this adventure, but yeah, you're not gonna have to roll any penalties.
Okay, fair.
So basically, she was on the equivalent of like a low grade, a really low dose of amphetamine. So yeah, not too bad.
Nothing worrisome, I'm sure.
Nothing to make you hallucinate.
Oh god.
Which is really rough on lost changelings. Yikes.
Yeah.
Hallucinations can cause their morality to go down if they react badly. It's ridiculous. World of Darkness. Alright, so alright. So yeah, it's easy enough to find Grim listed in Orchard's whole like business listing. Orchard being the AI, the basically Eden's equivalent of Siri, specific to this Eden city.
Essentially a Vina for the Eden City. If you've played those games.
According to Orchard's listings, it is listed as a strip club.
Great.
Okay.
So yeah, you're back in Steeltown. It's again rundown neighborhood. The architecture matches that of other parts of the city, where it's a weird kind of Art Nouveau cyberpunk. Where it's very digital, the lighting and wiring and all that wonderful clean energy infrastructure, but in very kind of organic, smooth forms. But here, obviously, things are more run down. The buildings aren't cleaned as often. Pollution isn't really a big deal here with all the clean energy advances, but things just do get dusty over time.
And there's bird shit everywhere.
Yeah. Local birds are crazy. And, maybe a lot more indentations in local infrastructure based on, fights happen inside establishments, outside establishments. Broken windows maybe don't get fixed quite as quickly as in other neighborhoods. But yeah, Grim is again, it's one of those weird bars where it's like you kind of have to know what you're looking for, otherwise you would have walked past it. They technically have a sign up over the door that says Grim, but it's like,
in black on black, and you can
dark charcoal lettering on a black background.
Fortunately, I just have to follow my nose to it.
About as shady gets.
Yeah. There doesn't seem to be, there is no line. There's a bouncer standing outside, but there's no line to get in. And there are there are windows on the kind of storefront area, but those have all been blacked over, probably by paint.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, I will approach the bouncer then in my wool cap and my large wool overcoat.
Oh my god.
Right.
I would like entry, please.
All right. Can I see your IDs?
I'll pull out my ID.
Yeah. Same.
Some card.
Here you go.
Okay. I'm not gonna wait. Yeah, he's just Are any of you a teenager pretending to be an adult? No. I will not even make you roll for that.
Dune is 87 years old. Teenage is long past.
I don't remember how old Klaus is, but same.
Klaus is actually quite aged for what Klaus is.
Yeah.
Klaus's timeline is an amusing subject. Yep. So yeah, he's just like, all right, go in.
I tip my hat and I go in.
Thank you.
Again, there's a he's just like barely emotes and it's just like, whatever.
They're more for the look of the thing than for actually any requirements. It is the rare teenager who finds this bar after all.
So yeah, you walk into this very dingy bar. You're pretty sure the flooring in the bar and everything used to be a dark wood, and now it's just kind of dingy, right. and there's all those weird like neon light things that are twirl, and it's just choices were made here, but no, this is there are 3 kind of like little stages for dancers. Only one of them is currently occupied. And that rather male presenting, very, gothy bondagey harness and pleather and plastic, and they're kind of twirling like it looks like a bow staff, but with like bright glowy doodly dads on either end, and this dancer is not even trying to not look bored.
Very clearly phoning it in.
They're very phoning it in. They're a good dancer, but they're just like so over it. And maybe look a little bit drowsy. And there are people in the bar with drinks kind of vaguely watching, but pretty much everyone in this space is phoning it in, except the bartender, who also just looks bored and is just idly cleaning glasses. Because what else is he going to do while he's on the job?
I'll go over to the bartender and speak to him. Bartender.
Yeah, can I help you?
I am looking for a good time, as it were, I believe, is how they say it, with a person named Valerie. I hear that she prefers this bar above all others.
Yeah. Valerie's one of our regulars. But
Rob, I believe Rob sent us would be the appropriate response to that.
And he's like, yeah, you don't. Yeah, you can wait here and, maybe Valerie will show up.
Much obliged. In that case, I'll push far too much money across the bar. I would like a glass of your whiskey, please.
Alright. Dune, while the bartender is dutifully getting you some whiskey, it's the best they have here is pretty middle of the road. I would like you to roll either streetwise or socialize, and wits, whichever is higher for you.
Oh yeah, definitely going with streetwise. I have 0 socialization here.
We can all tell by the way you're talking to every single bartender and drug dealer we've interacted with.
Yeah. Oh
Mouse
my god.
is constantly trying not to like just fall over dying of laughter watching you flounder through this.
That's 16. 9
It's hilarious.
9 plus 7 is 16.
Okay, so
That's 2.
the bad news is y'all realize you said something wrong and are not. You did something out of turn. Maybe there's like a code word or a password. Like you're getting a real speakeasy vibe here. So like, yeah, you misspoke. You danced out of turn. You stepped out of turn in the dance that is trying to get into the speakeasy dance. And the guy's like, he's not kicking you out. He's not questioning whether you should be there, and he doesn't think you're a fed. But you're
not getting back. We're not getting back to the back room, essentially.
Well, you're not.
No, I'm certainly not. I never really expected to. I'm wearing a wool overcoat and a wool hat, looking very much like a Welsh gentleman, a Welsh farmer gentleman in a bar where Leather Daddy is dancing on a pole to absolutely shitty music.
Honestly, looks more like Leather Baby, but yeah. So, Klaus, would you like to?
I would like to try to give this whole deal a try while Dune is taking a drink of this whiskey, because this is a little more my scene than Dune's.
Can I also join this?
Sure. We'll go with Klaus first. This is kind of Klaus. Well, I wouldn't say this is Klaus's natural habitat. Crowbar was more
close enough that I can hopefully make it work.
Would you like a social? Would you like a socials person to come with you? Because I'm very good at that.
Yeah. If
you can come hover over my shoulder, but I think that using the fact that I have contacts in clubs might work a little better than having a straight up social brute force, which might work if I fail.
Okay, perfect.
Social combat, my favorite.
Basically.
Dune is not equipped for this.
I get a funny voice.
Dune has a Welsh accent and a Welsh outfit, and that's it.
I want to walk up to the bar, kind of near Dune, where Dune is drinking, and like kind of lean over, put my shoulder away from Dune to make the pretense that he can't hear me, but clearly he can. I'm gonna be like, listen, I'm in the same business as Valerie, but I don't have all the same hookups that she does. Heard she might be able to get my friend here what he's looking for. I'm trying really hard to introduce him to this environment. Expressed interest in it, but, well, he's not the best at it.
Do you want to see the garden? Would anyone like to make a social roll at that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So social.
Yes.
Shit, my thing's not loading.
Social? No.
Ah!
Streetwise?
Okay,
Maybe.
social. Where is social on my thing? Berg. Okay.
Socialize or streetwise?
I'm gonna make a streetwise.
I don't see. What is it under?
Social specialties. I would say so. This would be a wits roll. Actually,
okay. So 3. I don't see socialize anywhere.
Socialize is under social skills. It's almost at the bottom of the page, unless I wrote your character sheet wrong.
Oh no, it's there. Okay, it's 5. Okay. Okay, come on, dice roller, don't do me dirty.
How would I be able to use my merit of contacts at clubs?
I would say add a dot from that to your roll,
Okay.
and I will
Oh,
dovetail it in. If
do
you-
I add wits?
Okay.
Yes, you had wits.
Oh, then it is a 11.
Okay. Klaus, what did you get?
I am at 12.
Okay. So I would say when this dude asks, like, do you want to see the garden? Or are you here to see the garden? That's him asking for the passcode.
Yeah, I gathered that, but I'm not sure if I know the passcode or not.
Yeah.
Or can guess
however, how many people in this party are magical?
Mm.
Take a quick look over your character sheets and make me an offer.
I mean,
How do you mean
offer-
magical?
if I can,
So let's say, Klaus, this comes into your context because you're like, you have been to speakeasy type places before. And it sounds like Dune basically talked over the bartender before they could get the code prompt out. Because Dune just kept talking.
Sorry.
But yeah, I'll say, like, you have a few minutes to try and think of the right answer, or so they think, when you could actually be doing magics.
I mean, if Patricio can land a mesmerize, they can just like
Yep.
take us to the garden.
Did I
with them.
know-
Hashtag.
I like this
right.
plan.
What is that a mind thing?
Shuriko is a vampire. So where am I echoing from?
Nebula Mantle.
Tech.
Oh, wait, that's a.
Why can't it be the cyberpunk future now, or my tech works? Oh, what the? It wouldn't work. It would still.
Tech just doesn't work. That's a rule.
So,
What is Nebula Mantle?
what is what?
Nebula Mantle.
Nebula. That I would say you could add that to social roles. It's basically you're the space equivalent of a spring court.
Okay.
So if you
I was
find-
going to say, is that a thing I need to do?
like if you wanted to seduce them, you could totally do that. But yeah, Patricio, want to mesmerize some folks? Go for it.
Yeah, okay. I rolled a 5. That's plus intelligence.
Okay.
I have no points in expressions.
Okay. So what did you roll? I'm sorry. An 8, you said? No. What was your total?
Still telling that. Where is it? Okay, dominate is 3. So that 12 total.
2 successes.
Okay. All right. All right. So yeah, you can basically. So you have their attention, and they're just like, what? And so yeah, you can give up to 3 sentences of commands to this person.
Oh.
And they will perform them. So what do you want them to do?
I mean, I think take us to the garden would make the most sense, unless the garden isn't a physical place. Yeah, I'll go with that.
Okay. You just command take me to the garden?
Yeah.
All right. We'll say that that's close enough. And he kind of like zones out, and you see his hand move to probably some sort of button or trigger under the bar. And you hear kind of a mechanical clicking noise, kind of off into the shadows beyond the dancer. Dune, you definitely hear it because wolf blood.
Aye.
Petruchio, because you're mesmerized, I will say that you kind of get us. Okay. So, dude just opened something for you. And now y'all can step through, and this guy is kind of mind mind blanked right now. So,
can you command them to forget like the last 5 minutes?
About to suggest that, we were never here or something.
If there were any questions as to why I chose a Vontrue for this party, it's like, nah. Dominate is good. Demontation is stupid. Dominate is awesome.
I heard where the door opened, correct?
So that would be Iron Edict.
That'd be what?
Iron Edict.
Iron Edict?
Yes, it's not on your character sheet because you are not a vampire.
Okay.
It is Dominate 2.
Yeah.
We'll just say, like, roll Iron Edict, and I can say, yes, you can erase their memory for the last 5 minutes.
Okay. Let's see. It says it doesn't have a dice pool.
Okay, so, because you already mesmerized the person. So, yep. Yep. The only requirement is you've already mesmerized them. So yeah, you can just like Jedi mind wipe before walking to the back of the club. Or yeah, officially it is a club.
Technically it's a club.
Technically.
So I guess we'll go back then. And who wants to go first?
Okay.
I'll go.
Because I can go first, but I don't look the part. I mean, if we're going to get attacked, I should probably go first. But as it stands, being not perhaps the most social of creatures, probably not my place.
We're not going to make you do that. No, baby. Baby, no.
I'll have you know that I am probably younger than you are, but I am no pup.
Okay, so I guess I'm gonna walk in.
I'll walk in, like, kind of close behind Pricely.
I'll stroll in behind the two of them.
Okay.
What do we see?
Casually.
Petruchia, are you also going? Or
Yeah, yes.
Okay. All right, so following the sound of the click click. Yeah, there's sort of like it's like door, bar, dancers, and then further back behind the dancers is kind of just another nondescript door, a black door on a black wall, and like, oh, there's a thing there. And this is the future, so like door molding frames, that stuff just doesn't happen sometimes. It's a bit like being in a black box theater, to be honest.
Okay.
So yeah, as you get there, the door kind of, but this is the future, so the door slides open, soundlessly, or no, actually it's the Steel Town. It's a little creaky, so it's like Star Trek but junkier. And yeah, there is. So as this door slides open, it's like there's already just like a puff of smoke in your face. Like someone's been running a fog machine at full blast. But it's not a fog machine.
It's opium.
Something.
Okay.
It's something that's giving y'all a little bit of a buzz. I'll say everyone roll, what is the... Damn it, I wrote this down. I did write it down. Where did I put it? Oh my god. When will I learn to take notes that make sense after I write them?
That's a mood.
That is, yeah, that's the...
A whole ass college mood.
Yeah.
All right, everyone, roll.
Stamina?
Stamina, and we'll say survival until I can find my notes.
Okay, 1, 2. So +4. Please, please give me something good. Oh, thank God! I rolled a 10. Oh, so it's a 14. Oh. Oh,
I
thank
have
God.
an 11.
Okay.
I rolled a 5, but I get +5, so I got a 10.
I grabbed a 12.
All right, everyone got at least one success, so it's like, wow, that's a substance, and you can just like kind of cover your mouth, so you don't have to take any penalties in this scene. Yay! So yeah, poof. Okay, this must be the place.
Doom with a sensitive nose is not liking the smoke. It's very acrid.
As you walk in, and well, obviously, yeah, for everyone else has to cover their mouths. Shurikyo just stops breathing. You don't really need to, but you do to keep up appearances, and
That's so damn convenient.
oh yeah. Also helps when people are wearing too much perfume on the subway. Anyway, so yeah, as y'all get in, there are lights on. They are unsurprisingly red, which does not do a lot to illuminate the very smoky space. There is a very traditional, classic-looking hookah, obviously, or actually no, there's probably like 2 or 3 of them, with maybe 1 or 2 people at any of, and people are just like lying on couches and stoned out of their minds and half asleep.
Half the smell in the room is the unwashed bodies.
There is a further off in the court. They're not even trying to hide. Pachuku would probably notice at first is not actually being an orgy. So at first it looks like people are snuggling in the corner, but then you notice one of them is kind of going between biting one and then the other and then the other. So that is a vampire that is feeding off of 2 stoned people. So the vampire equivalent of 2-fisting. So that's happening. So the interesting thing about vampire bites is they do ag damage, but they feel amazing. So yeah, it is sort of mutually beneficial. It's also vampires can more reliably get high by feeding off of people who are high rather than taking the drugs themselves. Yeah. So
as we saw with the Crimson Saga.
He ate some people, and they were on drugs, and now I'm a wizard.
There's another guy kind of like facing a wall and chewing on a paintbrush, just like not there.
Do any of them?
Yeah.
So the drug we are looking for glows in the dark. Yes.
Yes, that drug. There are. Actually, so it's a black light lighting up the room, so a lot of things glow right now. It's a little you will have to roll, let's see, wits investigation to differentiate between glow in the dark glowing and like actual magic glowing.
Wild.
Is there, what is it? Do I see anyone that looks like they might be
13
administering drugs?
Yeah, can I roll something for that as well?
Sure. I would say that's another wits investigation or wits streetwise since you're looking for a drug dealer.
Okay.
So
I rolled a 13 on mine.
And
17.
I do not see investigation. I really don't understand my sheet. Oh, okay. I get it. Okay, so I have a +6. 5 plus 6. 11. Oh, dice roller is nice to me this week.
All right. So Klaus got a 17, and Presley, you said you got an 11? No, wait. Yes, you got an 11, 17. Okay, so, and Dune, did you roll to identify glowy things?
I did. I rolled a 13, which is 2 successes. Yes.
Okay, so, Dune, you do notice an unmistakable bottle of glowy blue moony moonshine on a random table. And you notice one of the hookah, like, you thought it was just the shape of what it was shaped like, but it actually looks like, and then you're like, is that where they turn an apple into a bong? Kind of, and no, they're actually smoking, like, a glowy orange fruit.
Mm-hmm.
So it is likely one of the magic fruits, and they are kind of, they have it, like, jury-rigged into the hookah, and it is interesting. Not quite what you're looking for. There's also like a bowl of goblin. There are several bowls of goblin fruit because you'd be hard pressed not to find those everywhere in this town. Klaus, you don't necessarily see someone dealing, but you definitely, whether it's just the vibe or because you actually looked at the bounty page, or you did see the description of Valerie, and you see one of the people sitting at a more standard-looking hookah, and you're pretty sure that that's Valerie. And she's just kind of like chilling, getting stoned. As you get closer, it's like, okay, she's just smoking some kind of really bad weed.
Got it.
So, like, not the best stuff. It's just, okay. Well, no accounting for taste for some people, but this isn't exactly, elite status, good stuff place.
No, certainly not. So,
and Presley, you also, so yeah, I would say Klaus and Presley, you both get, it's like, oh, that's the chick we're looking for. And she's not healing, but she is just sort of chilling here.
Okay.
Do you point her out to Dune?
Yeah.
All right.
We point her out.
In that case, I'm going to go over and I'm going to loom slightly menacingly. But I'll wait for somebody else to talk first before I take her for a talk with the bartender back at Saga.
Oops. Okay, yeah, I'll go up. Yeah.
I'll go too. Just like slide it up to the table near her.
I'll just.
She just is bare. She's kind of sees people walking up to her, but she's just like she ain't bothered.
Okay.
Looming is only a wolf blood can.
She's basically just like waiting for y'all to make the first move because she's like, whatever.
Hi. Are you Val?
And she kind of like blows some very nice smoke rings and is like, that depends. Like, who wants to know?
Okay, so Rob sent me. He told me that I've been looking for Spike. Because I had some the other day and it was like so awesome and I really wanted some more, but like he didn't have any more, so he sent me to you.
Okay. She's like, she sort of thinks like, okay. I want you to, you are lying. So or partially lying. So I would like you to roll manipulation and subterfuge.
Okay.
Subterfuge is the bottom most skill on the character sheet, unless I did it wrong.
Okay, it that is a 3, and manipulation is 3 plus. Okay, I really just need to like streamline my shit. Okay, that's a 4. Okay, so 3 plus 4 is a 7, which would make my roll. No!
Did you ace it again?
I rolled a 1.
No.
7, it's still a success. Technically.
No. So
I rolled an 8. That's good, right?
it would be, except you rolled a 1. So that's the nice thing about this system is that all you have to, a lot of times you have not enough dots to get past the first threshold for a success, which is 8. Unless you roll a 1. And then, uh-oh.
Oh, no. Fuck. I'm sorry, y'all.
So she's just like, so, like, why are you actually here? Because that's some bullshit.
I would like to respond with, truth is, she did try some and had a really bad trip on it, and we were hoping that finding more would change it. Plus, I am also in the drug game. I don't know how to actually say that out of character, sorry. And honestly, pink glowing drugs, that shit sells. And notice I am not in fact saying that I want to be in it. I'm not saying specifically that I want to sell these things. I'm just insinuating it by dancing around it. Saying that I am a drug dealer, and I also am into that pink glowing drugs sell.
Okay, that's still going to be a subterfuge roll, but I will give you a +1 for careful verbiage. So, you know, again, just don't roll a 1.
Manipulation subterfuge?
Yeah.
Please don't roll a 1.
Well, I rolled a 3.
Okay, yeah.
So that will get me to 9.
Awesome. She's just like, all right, like, that makes more sense. So you want in on the spike trade?
Yeah. I hear it's new. It's shiny. Sounds like a good way to make some cash.
Oh, like, it is. It's amazing. And this is the only place where you can get that hookup, technically. So what's in it for me if I, you know, let you in on the franchise?
I,
out of character, am totally blanking all of a sudden.
I mean,
anyone else have ideas?
I mean,
you work for a travel agency, and we have a lot of clients that like want the hookup on some fun.
We're a travel agency. People come in from out of town. You know, transient people who would not necessarily find some local entertainments otherwise, and also, so she would get a cut of the out-of-town business, essentially. And,
yeah,
I mean, I don't know how public Carve, probably not very Carve is with the fact that it sometimes does one-way vacations, but, you know, the implication that she could get in on a slice of out-of-town business, essentially, would be my suggestion for what to offer her.
That's a good suggestion.
Oh, wait, did I not just do that in character? I thought I was doing that in character. I'm sorry.
Do it in character again. I'm confused. I'm
okay.
Storyteller's confused now.
Okay. Travel agency. There's a lot of like out of town people that are coming in and like, you know, are looking for the hookup on something. And you know what? Honestly, like this would be an extension.
Yeah, I'm going to finish that with, basically, we have connections. If you let me in on this trade, you get a slice of the out-of-town business that you wouldn't ordinarily get.
So are you looking to deal it yourself or have me on like Rolodex or whatever? Out of curiosity. No, I like to know what I'm getting into.
I'm going to look to Petruchio and Dune for that one because they're more on the, like, actually keeping track of how we keep track of people.
That's on Petruchio, unfortunately, because like I'm just the enforcer. I'm gonna enforce on this bitch once we got what we want out of her, but I'm just the enforcer. Petruchio's the head of the company.
Okay, so I'm gonna look to Petruchio then.
I'm confused. Are we just making empty promises at this point, or are we like actually setting up a business arrangement?
We're pretty much just making empty promises, but
Yeah.
you know, I'd be prepared to carry through with them if things go in such a way where that becomes beneficial.
Hedging. Lol. Hedging your bets. Lol.
Yeah, I guess that's one way to do it. I mean, like, do we have, like, we want to give her, like, some sort of, like, concrete assurance that, like, we're meaning this? Is there, like, some recent contact we have?
No. The question at this point is would you allow Klaus to deal drugs directly, or would you just want to keep Valerie on retainer for people, essentially? So that's the question that Valerie is asking. Is like,
yeah.
Do we want her to hand the drugs off to Klaus and not have to deal with us, and Klaus would just give her cut of the proceeds, or do you just want her to keep the drugs and we contact her when we need them, essentially, would be that. Or after the bartender finishes.
Just run a tourist agency. I'd leave that to the person who works in drug circles.
Or the accountant. Which would be I believe Priceley is actually the accountant.
This is why I delegate, guys.
Yeah.
This is your department.
So it's either the actual druggie or the accountant. So
Technically, Priceley is the salesperson.
oh.
Yeah, I'm sales.
I'm
Do
not
we have an
accountant.
accountant?
I'm not the accountant.
Technically, that's usually Petruchio, but there's a reason they do delegate, so y'all have some accountancy abilities.
I don't.
Because otherwise, Petruchio has to micromanage everyone, and that gets real annoying real fast.
So I will say that if you do the if you just get her as a supplier, then the fact that I'm about to haul her off to a bartender who may or may not chop her up into mince means that you will probably still have the supply in the future, especially if she hooks you up with the person in this club, who is handing out these drugs. Instead of going being the middleman between you two. That's all I'm saying.
Sure.
But that's out of character, so. Dune is not giving you any advice. Because Dune is not good at this kind of shit.
Yeah. You're the boss.
Which one am I saying in character? Brain has not quite processed everything yet.
You probably want to get to be supplied with the drugs and you'll be dealing them.
Okay.
As opposed to having her as a contact, because you may not have her for a contact for very long.
Mm-hmm.
Fair. Okay. So, after she asks that question, I assume we're all running these things in our heads much faster than we're discussing them out loud. And I'm gonna be like, it's probably better if I act as a go-between for our clients and your product, because our clients already will know me, and that will minimize the need for sending people around in a strange city. And
all right, well, I have some on me. So this lot will cost you, and she kind of, oh, my brain is not equipped for math right now. Give me a second. All right, so oh my God. Hold on. And she actually pulls out her phone calculator and it's just like, I can't even.
that's such a mood.
Yeah, it's just like, oh my God. I wasn't even supposed to be at work today. Like, or after a certain hour, like I had just clocked out.
Unfortunately, it'd be like that in this business sometimes.
All right, so retail prices are 50 credits a pop. A regular dose being 2 tablets. Any more than that, and things get a little too weird. I would recommend focusing on just changelings, because this works great on changelings. If anyone wants to give me another wits investigation roll.
I'll do that.
Yes.
Or actually, no. I would say just Pricely can give me a wits investigation roll.
Okay.
Thank you. The next one.
Okay, nice roller. Okay. 4 plus 6, that's a 10.
Oh, good. You can tell that Valerie is not a changeling. She's, as far as you can tell, a vanilla human.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask that.
So,
yeah. Okay.
So,
That's a little shady.
So 50 creds for 2 tablets. Only sell full doses. I mean, they can just take half if they want. I mean, whatever. I have 40 on me, so that's 1,000 credits for this bunch, and then we can see what happens.
Okay, and how are we looking on our resources? Because I don't actually know how much 50 credits is worth in this world.
Yeah.
We'll say you have enough resources you have up to 5 resources, which is something like having $1 million budget, or million. Let's just say credits for dollars, because we're Americans here, and I think we're all Americans here, right? I don't actually know. Oh, internet.
I think we are in a total of 3 states.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So let's just say credits are currently at the same exchange rate that dollars are, so $50 for a full dose. So yeah, she's asking for $1,000 up front for what she's got.
Those are really expensive. That's like very expensive drugs. Like, I'm just saying.
It's brand new designer drugs with magic infused. So what do you expect?
$50 for one tab. That's a lot. That is a lot.
Well, Pricely, based on what you experienced on a full dose for free.
Yeah. Okay. No, I was just asking if you, like, out of character wanted that to be very, very overpriced.
She's a drug dealer. Also, like, she has to, roll me another wits streetwise. Klaus.
Okay.
I rolled a 1.
Okay, so 3.
Everything seems fine. You're pretty sure she's the manufacturer as well as the dealer based on these prices.
Got it.
I rolled a 1 too.
Oh no!
So you were
Can I
back.
try with streetwise?
You were both completely sure. Oh yeah, this is just overpriced because it's brand new and she is the only source of this thing. You couldn't possibly get it anywhere else.
Can I try Streetwise?
Clearly she is secretly some kind of chemical genius who just sounds weird and gets high all the time. Dune, what would you like to do, Dune?
With Streetwise to see if I think this is bullshit?
Sure, but I'll allow that, yeah.
Because, you know, I've worked in a club before, and I'm also standing right here. I hear all of this nonsense.
Yeah.
That is very overpriced. $50 a tab? Like,
not to Pricely, because Pricely rolled a 1. Sounds legit.
So
It's $25 a tab, technically, but
Yeah. But say that, Dune?
with Streetwise?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 8 and 3 is 11 and 4 is 15 for 3 successes.
All right. So yeah, Presley and Klaus are convinced. Dune, you think like you don't do a lot of drugs, or maybe you do? I don't know. You know, it's you could do things on the weekends and
Alcohol's enough for me.
Yeah. You know, everyone experiments when they get to the city. Who knows? But from your experience of just being a bouncer for so long, and working on the streets and things like that, yeah, it does sound a little bit expensive. But also, like, she's might be one of the main salesmen, but she's probably not the manufacturer. So there's probably a bit of a markup so she can take an additional cut.
mm-hmm.
So it also suggests to you that so if, you know, 3 successes, yeah. So dealing with her as the bounty commands, if you still want to do that, you know, that doesn't cut the head off of the snake. She is one head on a hydra.
But she's the head that the bouncer wants, so the bartender wants. So the bartender will have her.
So
alive.
taking her out doesn't end this problem.
No.
Yeah.
Or this situation. If it's maybe it's a problem, maybe it's not. Well, there was that vampire incident.
Yes.
So yeah, there's
still, if I ask the bartender nicely, maybe she'll get the information we want out of her before she finishes with her. Either way, that's what I'll do.
Okay. So this is, and she just kind of like very naturally that kind of sleight of hand that so many dealers in this city seem to have, whether or not they're magical. And just suddenly has like, you know, just a very plain, you know, basically a space Ziploc, a very worn looking Ziploc baggie full of, yeah, you'd estimate this is about 40 tabs. So 1,000 credits.
All right.
So you want to get started? This is 1,000 credits and we'll see how you do.
out of character, is everyone okay with me just like spending our resources and not trying to talk her down to a lower price?
Yeah.
I mean, you can do that, but then you have to roll it.
Yeah, and I think that might risk souring our relationship with her, so I don't want to do that unless I have to.
I'm down for that. Do whatever you want.
Okay. Cool. I will give her the money she's asking for these drugs.
Yeah, and she just hands them over.
It's a real nice sleight of hand exchange. Even the rest of the party who's looking can hardly see it.
Mm-hmm.
So, point of order. We don't have to do this in future at your like location or office or storefront or whatever, because I know, you know, you guys will want to keep things clean. But I don't usually do business here. This is where I come to just like chill out when I'm not working. So if you want to establish like a regular drop, we can do something. Or if you just want to keep it more hands-off and less traceable, like I can be wherever with whatever on a regular schedule is helpful because then I know how much I can get the supply stream steady. But like, you know, how do you want to do that? Or do you just want to try this first and then we'll work it out from there?
Let's try this and exchange contact info, and we can work it out from there.
I put my card in the bag, or a card. So I guess it's technically my card. You look inside. There's a card that it's a blank card, and it just says Valerie and a number on it.
Cool. I will give her one of my cards and look forward to exploring this business relationship further.
Totally. We can totally do that.
Right.
What was your name? And she's asking Klaus, what was your name again?
Oh, I'm Klaus.
Huh. Oh, so you know Rob, so you're like more on that scene. Yeah, we're trying to branch into that.
Some extended circles.
Yeah. All right, so bye?
Yeah.
I mean, unless you want to hang out too, like that's cool.
I don't know, Dune, did you want to try some of this shit?
No, I believe that moonshine is quite enough for me.
I mean,
However,
one of you is a vampire and there's some fang bangers in the back, if that's what you're into. Like the guy back there, he's okay to share usually, but I mean, I doesn't know you. I shouldn't speak for him. I'm sorry.
I land a heavy hand on her shoulder. I am sure that you have most welcome intentions in mind for my companions. However, I have someone who wishes to speak with you.
Who and why?
I'm going to slide out of the booth at this point, and
It's not even the booth. It's basically just
but that's
okay.
Pillow.
I will get up and make myself scarce within the room.
Yeah.
The name is Zell, and she's a bartender at Saga. And she has asked me to
There's a reason I don't deal at Saga. No, wait, did I deal at Saga? No. Oh shit.
And if it's not me, it'll be somebody else. So I'm going to ask you to come with me nicely, so that I don't have to set Zell after you, because that'll just piss Zell off more, and you know it.
Oh shit! And she just looks on. She looks honestly frightened. Is like, oh shit! I knew I shouldn't have tried Saga. Oh god, damn it! All right.
If you come with me quietly, I'll ask Zell to go easy on you.
Roll, let's say, how do you want to, so you're going to have to roll for this. Is this an intimidation or an empathy?
Let's go for intimidation. And, because I got my hand on her shoulder, so strength.
No, that would be presence. This is a social roll.
Damn, I was hoping. Okay. Oh, God. Well, here goes. Ooh, that blew up. And that blew up again. That I dropped on the keyboard. And that's a 9. So that's 29 on the dice. Plus 3 intimidation for 30, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34.
Are you using a dice roller or actual dice? Because if it's a dice roller, Presley should get... Oh, no, real dice. Okay. Real dice always win. Okay. Oh, Jesus. So you rolled a 30-something?
I rolled a 34.
Actual success is
Damn.
20. Okay, so...
It exploded twice.
Fucking wild.
I'm loving my new dice.
So Dune, you're being, like, rather not, you know... You're not being overtly angry scary, but something about like a Welsh accent and a page boy cap in that kind of stodgy looking facade.
And the big heavy coat, which I'm not wearing because it's July or June.
And she probably notices the werewolf tattoos, and she is just like, Zell is after me, and now this guy, oh shit. And she's just like like the pipe kind of drops out of her hand. She's like, okay, just don't put your hands up.
Right.
She's like, okay, but she's still a little out of it, so she's a little afraid to move.
Your cash is your own, and your business is your own, but you're coming with me for Zell. So I keep holding her by the shoulder, and I basically haul her to her feet.
Yep, and she lets you do that because she is scared stiff. Her buzz is, well, she's still kind of brain fogged, but her buzz is not fun anymore. And
right. I'm going to keep a hand on her, and we're going to go basically back to Saga that way. One hand on her the entire way because I don't want her to get away.
Okay. This will mean walking. So y'all exit the cloudy room. Yes, Petruchio?
I mean, I can literally just tell her to, like, follow us if I ever mesmerized, and she'll just, like, walk out with us. You don't have to, like, threaten everyone in the bar by taking out their customers.
I like this plan.
Yeah, but Petruchia, I'll say that if you're taking her out like this, that looks mighty bad to the bartender and the bouncer that are between you and the outside of this establishment. So yeah, that is do you want to mesmerize?
On the other hand, I'm a well-known and accredited member of the Mercenaries Guild, and I do have an active bounty for this one.
I'll leave it up to you.
It would be easier if you mesmerized her, but I know it costs you something to do. So
it doesn't really cost you that much. It's level 1.
Oh. It's Petruchio is my boss. I can ask for favors, but I cannot give commands. That's not how the hierarchy works. So if you do me the favor, I'd be grateful, but
let's try it. We could always use the bounty if it fails. Oh, that's another 12.
Yeah, so Petruchio, this little stoner is clearly freaking out and is docile, but looks really freaked out, and this will definitely attract attention when there's barely anyone in the club. So how do you appeal to her to just get her to look at you, or do you just like stare at her really hard? Do you give any commands in particular, or do you just?
I think be calm, follow quietly.
Yeah, like follow us quietly. So that's good.
She's super quiet. She just looks freaking.
Okay.
I'd say be calm as well.
Follow us calmly. Or be calm.
Okay, she kind of at that she's the glazed look changes somewhat, and she goes from glazed terror to glazed calm, and is just kind of like checked out looking, but she's already kind of stoned, so she'll go with you.
All right.
And the door had closed behind you, but somewhere in the wall, like, again, it just looks like the wall of a black box theater. She seems to know where to pass her hand to get the door to open again. And you hear the same, like, click, creak, where it's only half as nice as Star Trek. And yeah, she just goes with you, not really acknowledging anyone else around you. The bartender and the dancer's just like, hey, something not boring. Okay. Doing the twirly thing.
Putting slightly more effort into the routine now.
No, not really. Just watching, like, oh, what's going on here, instead of being bored. Like, this is slightly interesting. But she doesn't seem freaked out, so she's just going, and the bartender's, watching you guys kind of suspiciously, but no one's putting up a fight, so lets you go. And
his tip jar's half full.
That does help.
Well, not the tip jar that's actually on the counter, because like you don't do that. He kept it. But yeah, the tip jar looks about as low filled as before. But so he must have just pocketed it, which is given the establishment, not a bad idea.
It's what I meant for him anyway. So
and oh dear. However, as you exit past the bouncer, who is sadly for you not high, and maybe knows a thing or two about vampires, does notice that one of their regulars is kind of specifically following Petruchio more than the rest of you, like out of this bar, kind of like a zombie.
I'm following close behind.
Yeah, and he's like, Val, are you okay? And she's like not responding because she's mesmerized. Like, Val.
I
and he puts a hand on her shoulder, kind of to pull him back towards him.
I step between them. She has an appointment to see Zell.
All right. And what are your credentials exactly? What is your claim here? Because she's one of ours.
I hold out my Mercenaries Guild accreditation and flip open to the bounty that Zell put.
All right. I can't stand between you and I. All right, so I can't stop you, but don't expect to ever be allowed in here ever again, like any of you.
Petruchio. No, I don't suspect that we would. However, it's not my choice. But you do what you feel needs to be done.
It is your choice. You could not mind fuck one of our regulars into going to see, the saga, the crazy, dangerous saga lady.
That would be I did not do that, as that is not in my, as you say, wheelhouse.
Y'all were together, right?
I don't know who you're talking about. Very well.
Can I have multiple? I don't think I can like mesmerize him too, right?
I mean,
I'd allow it. I mean,
if you let her go, then I've got her.
I forget. Does it cost blood? I don't think it even costs blood. Look at your character sheet again.
Do I get points for not decking this dude, for having fortitude not to deck this dude?
Points? No, because
I'm kidding.
Yeah, it's like if one of the backroom folks at Saga were being mind blown and led out the door by a vampire, like what would you have done at Saga? Like some bouncers are territorial, or else that's just how their organization is.
I'd have stopped them, of course, but if they were doing it lawfully, like I am, like.
Well, and he's letting you, but he's saying y'all can't ever come. You will not be allowed back into this establishment.
Klaus is gonna shrug and keep walking.
Yeah.
I have no real plans on coming back. So I'll tip my hat to him and tip him because he's doing a good job, despite the fact that he's not letting us back in. But I can respect that in a bouncer, and I'll leave.
He does not seem impressed by your tip and is a little bit actually roll this is a roll. Wits streetwise.
Okay.
Since I don't think you have much subterfuge.
That's a 3, so it's a 9, all told.
Yeah, you can openly tell you just like very much offended this guy. Like you came into his club and took one of his regulars and then like paid for them. Like, what the fuck, man? Like, what is wrong with you? Like, yeah, you will not be allowed back in here. So
Let's hope we never have to come back to Grimm.
Yeah.
That's what the glamour is
yeah,
for.
let's hope. All right, then.
I mean, she said that this was not the place where she went to deal. This was a place where she went to relax. Therefore, we can probably guess that the Spike distributor is probably not here, as she did not do business here unless we asked her to. But that was very specifically a one-off. So I'm not saying this in front of the bouncer. We're now down the street.
I'll since you've been, I think you rolled very high. What she said is she doesn't sell here. She didn't say that she doesn't buy here.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's hope you never have to come back to Grimm for anything.
I mean, that's what Priceley's for.
Anyway, so we're at the... All right, I'll just pause this so we don't have to deal with the noises. So yeah, it is 8:30. We usually take a 5 to 10 minute break, unless we want to keep going. I am fine taking a break, and then I usually like talk at chat for a while.
I mean, it's a good place to pause.
Yeah, it's a good place.
I'd like to take a break. It's tea time.
Yeah.
Also, more comfortable pants time.
I dig it.
Why would you start gaming in uncomfortable pants? What?
Right?
Because I was needing to wear pants until I sat down to game. It was like a rush in and get to my computer kind of deal. And they aren't that uncomfortable.
All right.
Anyway, I'll be back momentarily.
All right, hello chat. So we're using StreamYards. So we're allowed, we have a private chat and we have public chat, but unfortunately I can only look at one at a time. So I will now look back on whoever is in the chat room. If you have any questions about the game or the setting, yeah, just ask. We have Q&A because I'm not good enough at Twitch yet to have like a save screen and we'll be back in 10 minutes thing, because I'm very new to all this still. Thurzaz is a... Oh, okay. I didn't actually know that Thurzaz was a Norse thing because I did not build Space the Infinite Edge. Arcane. Oh, hi, Arcane. Okay, I recognize the Spaceballs reference, but I have no idea at what point it applied here. Goblin Fruit hasn't been, yeah. I invoke Goblin Fruit. Now my whole system is enchanted and oh, trouble. So, yeah. Hello. They're drinking the drug blood, yes. Oh, wait, these are my players. Somewhere a Mentat twitches. I know that reference too, but because I'm not watching chat live, I don't know when that applies. Fooding in the bar. When were we fooding in the bar? Now I have a headache. I shouldn't role play stoned characters because it gives me a headache. Fooding in the bar. Oh, yeah. Some people are very good at on-the-spot math. I am not one of them, therefore neither are any of my NPCs. When I'm RPing a PC who is good at math, I usually have a calculator in my hand. But yeah, thanks for coming. Oh, Fadir is here. Hello. Yeah. Hello, everyone. Thanks for watching. We had a hiatus for a few weeks because of the general media blackout for the world being on cleansing fire, I hope. We'll see. And then the week after that, several of us were sick, or, well, I was sick. And yeah. Oh, Arcane the Sage is multitasking with work stuff and trying to rework D&D treasure economics because Arcane is more or less publicly an RPG kingpin and can't not hack any economic system they find themselves in. Like, they could go on and on and on about D&D economics, and it's really, like, you don't think about these things, and it's like, and it helps that I'm nuts. Yes, you are. But in a fun way. You make things interesting. Hi, Milk Maven. Friends, thank you for coming. Because, yep, I try to boost this on social media, but aren't we all a little nuts? Yes, that's why we play make-believe in full public view of the internet. Make-believe in space, well, in make-believe space. So yeah, I'm not sure if we're going to be streaming next weekend. It is July. I didn't realize July the 4th was on a Saturday. I have nothing to do anyway, but it is going to be a Hamilton weekend. So we might game if our players can make it. We might do something. We have a few backup players. So if they're free, we might do something. No fireworks. Well, plenty of people seem to still have fireworks. It's just they shouldn't. I'm out in central Queens, and I would not be surprised if there are some private, less legal fireworks displays going on. They were happening at New Year's, and we weren't even under quarantine. But it's warm and muggy outside in Queens, so but we'll see. But yeah, probably no fireworks. But you know, some states are opening up their crackdown laws, so families might want to get together and hang out and barbecue. At least it's not New Jersey. Yes, that is exactly why I'm here. Many people have wondered why I didn't just live in New Jersey and commute to New York City for work. And that's because I spent 18 years trying to escape New Jersey. So yes, Queens is definitely better. Hello, Drakus.
I have returned.
Woohoo!
Tea acquired. Comfortable pants on.
Nice. There's always non-legal. Yes, Milk Maven is also a New Yorker for all their life. So yes, they know how these things work. There will be fireworks on the 4th, just not official.
Our official fireworks shows got canceled a while back, but as of like yesterday, they made a law in Ohio where like pretty much it's just legal to set off fireworks now, and I don't know the details of it, but I'm honestly horrified.
Oh, Ohio. I once heard that there are more astronauts from the state of Ohio than any other American state.
That is true.
And yeah, because how can you get as far as possible from Ohio? Like, I have heard some things. I'm sure there are many nice people and communities in Ohio, but
it's
yikes.
still...
Yikes.
Everyone is just kind of middle of the road, just generally existing. I go to school. I live in like the more southern part of the state in the Dayton area, and I go to school up near the border with Michigan. So the drive between here and there lasts about 2 hours, and it's 2 solid hours of just cornfields. and soybeans and the occasional small town. I go to school in the middle of just farmland. What was I thinking? And yes, Cleveland does have the Rock Hall of Fame. And I haven't been to North Dakota. It's one of 6 states I haven't been to. But, yeah. I'd imagine that is true there as well.
Yeah. So next week, we might run something. We might not. It might be a different game. Actually, those of us on screen right now all met running Demon Hunters online via webcam. So it's like, well, now everyone games on Twitch via webcam. Why don't we do that too? We already know how. So yeah, maybe I might do my party trick where I make someone else vamp for 10 minutes while I roll up the whole adventure in 10 minutes and then run something. Or someone else can, and I can take a nap. Or just, be a player and not have to keep track of all of the things.
Yeah.
Although it is fun doing more than one weird voice in a game. Your mics work perfectly. Oh yeah, thanks, Fatior.
That is a greatly appreciated comment.
Yeah.
Bad mics are a fear of mine.
Yeah, I had a problem the other night. I was DMing my home game for D&D 5e, and I was basically having to bring the mic like right this close to my face to get it to come through Discord for some godforsaken reason. I don't know.
Discord is there's a reason we're using StreamYards and not Discord. Discord really hates me, and I don't know. As text, it's fine. Anything audio or video, it's like, no, fuck you, Chris.
I was having to do this with my microphone to try and get my players to hear me. This wasn't fun the entire time. It was 3 hours.
Horrifying.
Asthma.
That's not me.
Yeah. No, that was me. So yeah, it's been 10 minutes, so we'll start up again when Presley returns. But yeah, so we will not be running game on Gen Con weekend because us three at the top of the screen will be GMing a ton of stuff at online Gen Con for Zombie Orpheus Entertainments.
And also,
I think
Gen Con tickets are free, so come.
Yeah.
So game with us. We'll be. I will put links and stuff on my social media, and we'll figure that out. We have a few weeks to figure out how social media works in regards to having a Twitch stream. I have not quite figured it out, any of this, but so very much thank you for being here, because I'm always pleasantly amazed that anyone knows this is going on. Because Facebook likes eating my posts in general. Twitter is vast. And I don't even remember what else is out there. Oh, Tumblr is still a thing, right? I have not used Tumblr in a while.
I don't know that it's the best place for, like, this kind of post, but yeah, it's still a thing.
I use Instagram, but it's not a good advertising platform.
No, I use Instagram for, like, pictures of my embroidery and my garden.
I don't use Instagram. I mean, I have one because I was forced to sign up for some reason, but like I have never posted anything to it, so I'm pretty sure I'm shadow banned at this point.
Yeah, I can. If you want to find me on a social media, just basically use the @Ms. and if I'm there, I'll probably be that.
I'm actual Dracus on most platforms.
Yeah, I did ping the Zoe Discord. That's how Vadior showed up.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, a lot of us met via Zoe. And we will be running stuff for them. Well, I will be. Our Dracus and Merc, are you running Demon Hunters?
Yep.
At Gen Con, yes.
Yes. At Gen Con,
running Omicron 11 adventures.
I don't know what I'm running yet.
Gen Con!
I left all of my learning and planning to the last, 2 weeks before the con last year, so
I did too.
It worked out fine.
I did too, but then I didn't actually know I was going to Gen Con until 2 weeks before, and by some miracle, everything fell into place, and it was a nice summer trip right before having invasive surgery later in August, or no, a week after Gen Con. So it's like, thanks, universe. I needed that fun to get me through the following year, I guess, and counting, because, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll be running something for Zoe. I will be using the Faith Core Demon Hunter system, but I will actually be running a metaverse game based on the Weird West metaverse world. Except I run the Weird UK. So it's very steampunky. There is a Doctor Who semi-inspired character. And so there's one person that's just called the Doctor. And there are historical reasons for doing that, but also obvious reference. References within references, that is how I do things. What would Matt Vansel do? Oh, if I could have Matt Vansel come in playing one of the backup characters that's like, okay, if I have too many players, I can bring this one in, is the ghost of Lord Byron. If I could have Matt Vansel playing the ghost of Lord Byron, like, fuck it, we'd stream that. Just so I'd have a VOD of it and have it.
Record it, keep it forever, hold it close to your heart.
Let's do this on StreamYards. All right.
Yeah. And
oh no, StreamYards only allows 6 people.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I mean, there's the. I kind of want to. I almost want to see what he would do with the Mary Lloyd adventure, because.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, that was a wild time.
Gesundheit.
Thanks.
Zombie Orpheus Entertainment also has its own channel, which is fun, and they stream all the things on weeknights. Hence, is one of the many reasons we are running on a Saturday, because we actually want to watch those things.
Yeah.
With them.
If this was happening on Tuesday, I wouldn't be here.
This setting comes from a group called Mind's Eye Society, who might be changing their name soon because stuff is happening. I don't know. I may or may not still be a member. I lapsed. I haven't gotten around to rejoining. They did start running the local New York Space LARP started running again, but instead of running on Friday nights like it used to when it was a LARP, now that it's online, they're running it on Saturdays. So last week I had to choose between running my game and going to the Space LARP, and I chose my game, but possibly, and I also had like 48 hours notice, which was, or not notice, but I have a lot of brain fog issues, so 48 hours realization. So I'm like, so in future I might bring someone in to run a backup game while I go and be my space character in someone else's space game. Maybe. We will see. But me, Dracus, and Merc all come from a GM roundtable for Demon Hunters, so I know they got the goods. They have modules. I have seen them run them.
Yep.
It can happen.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we'll see. This is originally going to be like a 4-part series, but I'm like, you know what? I like this setting that I developed. I developed this for a regional event where I only got to run it for 4 hours of a LARP. And LARP isn't really conducive to the level of detail I put into a setting. So now I'm just going to keep running this the rest of the summer and get the most out of this before I drop the plot anvil on my players. And you know, we might keep going after that. Who knows? Depends on whether or not I ever have to go back to work, which I'm hoping not, because my immune system doesn't work great. Or rather, go to work before a vaccine is created. Anyway, if they survive. Yeah! Well, that's the thing. At this point, like, by that point, they will be hopefully used to the system enough that they can then build their own characters. I built them for them because this was originally supposed to be a module I ran at conventions or for other people in person. So yeah, guys, good news. If your characters die, you get to build your own.
Well, shit.
I'm scared of the possibility of Klaus dying.
I'm not a super I fall more into the category of GM who's like, why go for the kill when you can go for the pain?
That is
yeah.
a totally valid way to GM.
Yeah, it's killing characters or threatening to kill them is just really boring. And I come from an RPG organization where a lot of like people think they're good at politics, but really there's just a big threat of if they don't get what they want, their friends come in from another state and kill your character. And that soured me on the whole thing. Oh, Sunburst, you didn't hear. So NYC Space started running its LARPs again online on Saturday nights, starting last weekend.
Cool.
So that was a fun choice I had to make. But so at a future date, there might be a backup game happening instead of this because I want to play in the space game again. But I also haven't renewed my membership, so I don't.
Is there? Yeah, I was gonna say because it's pandemic times. Do we still gotta pay to do this? Like,
well, y'all don't have to pay to do this, but this is not under the auspices of MES. I'm just, I guess, effectively ripping off the system they developed from a short story. I don't know.
Because anyway. I liked space. I liked Molly Disco. I miss her. But I don't want to have to pay for it if I'm just going to be sitting at home on the laptop.
I don't think we have to pay like site fees, but you might have. Yeah, I don't know about the membership fees.
Yeah,
a lot of stuff is in flux right now. I'm very brain fogged on all that, so. I can't report what. Also, I don't have to talk about it here. Anyway, all right, we were gaming our own game.
Hi.
So yeah, hi. Let me just set my timer so we don't go over. Oh, bleep. Okay, so. Clearly, I've never been to a club with a bouncer in person. What? Well, Merc, it's also the fact that I've been a New Yorker for many, many years, and our bouncers have a certain vibe going.
Yeah.
Never been to a club with a bouncer. I have no idea. All I know is you tip all the help heavily. That's all I got. So.
Well, it was less about a tip and more about like, hi, I'm paying for you to look the other way as I kidnap your friend.
That wasn't my intention. Like, I was paying him for doing his job correctly, but I know that's how it came across. Not the way I meant it, but critical situations. So
technically, doing his job correctly means protecting their regulars, which he is not able to do because then he crosses the Mercs union. So it's like, oh well.
Yeah, I mean. If it makes him feel better, I take a punch. But, you know, I fucked that interaction up as a player because I don't know what's going on. Anyway, that's on me.
You're not supposed to succeed at every interaction, hence I'm harsh about ones. So, all right. Sorry, chat. I have to go back to the private chat because my players will need to tell me things. All right. So we're, so you just quietly absconded with Valerie. Do you take her straight back to Saga, or?
I do.
Okay.
I mean, unless you want to interrogate her on the way, then we can do that. I mean, it's not exactly a short distance between the two.
It's kind of cab or train. It's kind of it's not a fast drive.
No.
It's not overly long. You've got maybe like 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm. But don't ask her anything. Ask her now.
So yeah, she is still mesmerized.
Who's your supplier? And where might we find them?
Correction. Petruchio still has her mesmerized.
Yes. I cannot ask her.
So could I?
I can ask her.
Well, you can, but she doesn't have to answer you. Like.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'll just casually like, where's your who's your supplier? Is that, do I have to mesmerize her again, or does it just...
You've already given her 2 commands, so
Okay.
I'll give you this 3rd one. If you want to ask her more questions after that, you'll have to mesmerize her again.
Okay.
Which is just a roll. Unless you want to do programming, which you can. You do have a power for that, but, we'll see. So,
Don't know if that's necessary.
so what did, repeat the question again? Because I started talking.
Who's your seller?
Supplier.
For
Supplier.
Spike. Specifically for Spike. Because we don't care about the other.
Right.
Okay.
So who's your supplier for Spike?
Dr. Rabin is my supplier.
Can you spell that in the private chat?
Yeah.
Okay. Dr. Rabin. Okay. As opposed to, I don't even know what I heard. Sorry.
I heard rabbit as well.
That's what I thought I heard, but I wasn't quite sure.
That's why we have the private chat.
Yep.
Because while it's nice to know our microphones are mostly okay, I know they won't be entirely okay because internet. So, all right. So you've got a name.
Yep.
And she is still stoned.
And also terrified of Dune.
Maybe the mesmerizing still got her pretty calm, and that hasn't broken yet.
Fair. But that's the name's really all we need. We have contacts. And I would rather not have to get anything else out of her that she could report on, essentially. But, yeah, I mean, I've never heard of Dr. Rabin. I can't say that it's a familiar name to me, but I'm sure that if they were introducing a new designer drug, they can't have been doing it through just one person. It'd be too much of a choke point for their supply. But, on the other hand, nor could they go by themselves and simply say that I've got a new drug that I'd like to put on the market. So, they had to start somewhere.
Hello, would you like some new drugs?
That's exactly how it goes.
Exactly.
It's hard being the only dealer in the village.
Oh my god.
I mean, given what I know of small towns, being the only dealer in the village isn't really a problem. Anyway. Anyway, moving on. So do any of you, is the name familiar to any of us?
Not without rolling.
Yeah.
I will roll for that then.
Okay.
Street
What would this be?
For Klaus, for you, I would allow, in this case, I would say this is, yeah, this would be a streetwise roll. It depends, like, what, are you trying to recognize this name via a streetwise context?
Yeah, probably start thinking through the social circles and see if I've heard the name from anybody else that I know. And
if that doesn't work, you may wish to consider the actual medicine one, because he is Dr. Rabin, or at least referred to as.
That's true.
So it would not be the first time a disgraced medical professional decided to pick up a side gig, as it were.
Okay.
Yeah, I think attacking it from the realm of the drug dealer social circles is probably a better place to start, just because that will be the more likely way that I at least would be able to track somebody down.
Yeah.
So, would this be intelligence or wits?
I would say intelligence.
Okay. Ooh, rolled an 8, so I'm getting 17.
Okay.
Unless I can't do math. But 14.
14?
I don't know. I can't do math.
You got an 8.
8 plus 4 on my streetwise, so that's 12. Plus 3, so it's 15. Because I can do basic addition and subtraction.
3 successes. Yeah.
Yeah. 3 successes.
All right. With 3 successes, this is not a name you recognize at all from drug circles, and like, it's not. I mean, you probably know some of the local chemists just by virtue of your past as a scientist. So they're like, in a weird way, it's nice talking to someone that actually understands what they're talking about and isn't just like pushing product. Because like, you don't really need a science degree to sell the stuff.
Yeah.
And while there are the equivalent of in Idun system of like meth labs and the kind of lowbrow stuff, there are occasionally people that just get into rough straits.
And just breaking it up in there.
Like, they gotta pay off their healthcare is free in Eden system, but not in all systems. And college tuition is free in Eden system, but not in all systems. So people who come in for like a lot of it's the street culture in Eden City is an interesting mix of people. Even for a cyberpunk space universe that has supernaturals in it, it's an interesting mix. So, yeah, unless it's someone you already know using like a cup, like a nom de plume, nom nom nom. That is not a name you recognize, or it's someone just brand new. Which can happen. It is kind of weird. But
I'm gonna like stare off into space for a few moments as I'm thinking through the social circles, and I'm gonna be like, yeah, I've never heard of a Dr. Rabin. Got the finger counting going on, and no one knows what system I'm using. I don't even know what system I'm using to count on my fingers. But
I know a guy who counts on his fingers in binary, and that's just weird.
Oh, I do that too.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So I mean, you are fairly certain. At least I can tell you are fairly certain this is someone you know. At least within the scene. So either fake name or brand new person or both.
Okay.
Right. But with a name, we can start making inquiries. Not that I'm very good at that, but you should probably stop letting me take points when making inquiries.
It's not our fault. You just like charge into every social situation as soon as you have information on who to talk to.
Like, damn.
We say, I think that's Val. And you're like, let's go.
Right? Like, damn.
Let's go have a conversation. All right. Well, you do still have the Valerie with you if you have any more questions. But to utilize Mesmerize, Petruchio would have to roll for that again.
I can. Is there anything else you want to ask? Like,
No, we probably want to know a bit more about Dr. Rabin. Although,
yeah, okay. Ooh, that's an 11.
Okay.
2 successes.
So long as you didn't roll a 1. All right. So you get another 3 questions.
Where can Dr.
Where-
Reddit be found?
Yeah. Like, where does she meet him, assuming she does?
Okay. Ask the question because roleplay.
Where do
Yes.
you meet Dr. Rabin?
I made him upstairs at Grimm.
What time? Or no. When's the next meeting?
Tomorrow night at midnight. Actually, no, tomorrow night, 6 p.m.
The time and the place.
When did Dr. Rabin appear on the scene? Would be my third question for that, but that's not strictly speaking necessary for us. It may be necessary for you because you were charged by the high command of vampire stuff to figure this out, but
So, what do you know about him? Is that what we're getting at?
or them.
He's a real doctor, scientist guy. He's not. He's hasn't done this before. He's new. She just sort of like stoned and mesmerized and brain fucked. He's like really snotty.
Why changelings?
Patricio?
Why changelings? Okay. Let's give this another shot. Oh, that's a 10. Okay. So that comes out to a 20 total.
Wait, that's a 10, doesn't it blow up?
Yeah,
Just
I got
blow
a
up.
10, a 3, plus 7.
Okay, sorry.
What changelings?
That's 5 successes. 8, 11, 14, 17,
There's
20, yeah.
there's goblin fruit hedge stuff in it. So it works most on changelings,
As
but
she
it works
says
on
that,
other people too.
I want to get out the tablets that I am carrying and look at the chemical makeup of one of them.
You realize that to use your scanners, you have to actually ingest it, right?
Depends on how high they roll.
Yeah, I won't take it here and now. I'll wait until later if it comes to that. But like, I will look at it, and if I can't figure it out just by looking, I will take some later and find out.
You also have things like on your. Let me take a look. You are a Moros mage, so you have matter.
Yeah.
So, like, if you want to
true.
spend a mana just to do like sphere scan,
Let's do it.
I would allow.
I don't do spell casting very often, which is funny because I am in fact a mage.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So use a mana.
Okay.
How does spell casting work? I haven't cast a spell since like the first session, I think.
Ascension mages a lot of the time, or awakening mages, are very into tools and or rituals, which add bonus dice to, or bonus points in this case, to their roll. Okay, what did you roll again?
I haven't rolled anything yet.
Okay. So let me take a look at your sheet. Interesting. Okay. So yeah, this is technically not how it's supposed to work. I'm just gonna use all the spheres and see what pings, but I'm fine with it because it's my fucking game. So yeah, so basically, mages often have a ritual tool. If it's a sciencey mage, it can be a piece of technology, or a computer. In some cases, it's more occulty looking, like a magical artifact or a wand or something they made themselves. Sometimes it's a mantra that they mutter until they understand what's happening. You know, in the way of the cult of ecstasy would, like sometimes you do drugs or some other kind of pleasurable activity and you just kind of magically unhinge your mind until you know what's going on. So yeah, so how would Klaus approach magic? Because they did have that initial ghost mentor person.
Yeah.
But Klaus has, you know, even if they're not super involved in the Concilium, which is that kind of mage community, like Klaus at least knows like the person who's the speaker for the Moros mages. So, and you've met other mages and they've shown you stuff and you've learned from watching them, or maybe like traded, like, can you show me a thing in exchange for me doing a thing for you? Even if Klaus isn't super serious about magic, it's like, you know, hey, so-and-so did this. What if I did that?
Yeah.
For some reason, your description of them unhinging their minds just reminds me of like a python unhinging their jaw so they can swallow something.
Cult of ecstasy, I would not be surprised. Oh, stations.
Probably have some sort of like spell that I mutter that helps to unhinge the mind, as you say.
Okay, so like a mantra, maybe in another language, or okay.
It might, in fact, be nonsensical syllables that people have been trying for a while to decipher, but they don't actually mean anything.
Oh, please go for a Jackie 10 on this.
I'll allow a +1 for that. So let's see. So for that, I would say roll wits occult +1.
Okay.
Love it.
Could, of course, roll a 2. At least it's not a 1.
Oh, thank God.
It's going to be 7. It's going to be a 12.
2 successes.
Okay.
No, 2 successes.
So yeah, you are kind of saying your word mantra thing, and as Klaus is doing that, like you're all, I guess, sitting. Are you taking a cab or are you taking the subway?
Cab.
So y'all are quite close to Klaus right now, and suddenly, as they're kind of looking and staring, nothing overtly bad happens, but that thing where so sometimes when mages do magic, y'all can see what's called a nimbus, which is when you use mana, it's, you know, poof, magic has happened. Klaus is a Moros, so they're well, I don't. So y'all Moros. So your two main well, you're thinking of Klaus and who they are, and you know their two main spheres are death and matter. Like, what do you think a nimbus cloud would look like? Like when it's in a acanthus, it's like vines and fractals and crazy shit and time and entropy fate stuff. And when it's an Obermost and it's like prime and forces, it's like, oh, electricity sparks. Like, death and matter and Klaus.
Oh, Lord.
I won't make you choose Nimbus tilts because that's complicated, but like, what does it look like?
What if it's reminiscent of what happens when you go through the death gates in space that everybody hates so much. Klaus is sitting over there leaning back with their coffee, just like hanging out, going through these, and everyone else is like, oh, this is awful. And my Nimbus gives off that same feeling.
I mean,
so it's not a visual. I like this.
Yeah,
So-
it's not so much visual. Like, yeah, maybe you can kind of see it, but it's more like feeling it and your mind tricking you into rationalizing it as feeling it.
So there is a moment, just a moment, not a full 20 minutes, luckily. But as class is drinking their coffee, muttering over this tablet, y'all suddenly feel like you're going through a Stygian gate for a moment, and it's just like, and you just shake it off, and you feel all kind of creeped out, and it's like, what the fuck was that?
I need a drink.
Yeah, good thing you're going to a bar.
Aye, my favourite bar.
So at this point, I would say it's probably around midnight. So, but there was an altercation, and so it's not as So is anyone else doing anything before we get to the club or to the bar? Okay.
I'm sending a message to Zell to let her know that we're coming in with the bounty.
Okay. So yeah, as you get to Saga, it's not as busy as it should be for a Friday night because there was a crime scene here earlier, and but it's not empty. It sounds like there are more people in the back where the more clubby area is, and the side rooms with the congeniality specialists. Let's say, yeah. And so you get a sense that there's more happening in there than in the bar, tavern, restaurant area, because there are still some bloodstains and some broken furniture or missing furniture. And,
I didn't even that hard.
And Zell is just behind the bar, and there isn't usually a bouncer outside the door, but there is today or tonight. Usually you'll do security from the inside because it's like, there's food here, so minors are allowed. It's just, or rather they're inside on the way into the club area to make sure that children don't get in the back room or the back facility.
Okay.
But
It
there's
would be
food
bad
here.
to let children wander in.
Yeah. Like, it's not impossible, but, kids will be kids. Excellent social support systems in this system, but kids will still be kids. So Zell is pretty much waiting for you, and she gets out from behind the bar, and she and one of the other bouncers kind of sidle up to Val and are like, Zell's all, thank you, dude. So is it just you, or is it your whole company? Because I just need to know who to send the credits to.
It was a team effort.
All right.
Yes. I will say, be aware that this one is somewhat under the influence and not just of Petruchio. So you may wish to let that flush out, as it were, before you try anything substantial, as it were.
Oh, don't worry. We're prepared for the long haul on this one.
All right. And
thank you
dear.
for your help. So order whatever you want off the menu or the drink list, and it is yours tonight. Feast as heavily as you want. And our friends in the back have I've already texted everyone, and they will show you whatever good time you're looking for tonight.
I appreciate that, Zell. Thank you very much.
So
I don't like anyone messing with the place any more than you do.
Yeah. So we're gonna take this little one out back, and we're gonna have a conversation.
That is your business in the end. Just remember you had the cops here recently, and the second time would probably not be good for business.
And she taps her phone and is like that. And nowadays, these favors now belong to the Carve Tourism Agency.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you for your prompt work. So I'll see y'all later. I will not be around tonight. Justina will be the bartender for the rest of the evening because I will be otherwise occupied.
Have a good time.
Where is Zell from?
Planet Louisiana.
Okay.
The planet Bayou. There we go. So,
I mean, I came from the countryside with a Welsh accent, and so did my sainted aunt. You never know. You really don't.
She come from the Bayou. So y'all have a nice evening. I will see y'all later. And she just sort of like takes this. Valerie's still pretty stoned, and has been now mesmerized at least twice. So they just sort of gently lead her to a back room, yet another back room, because didn't you know taverns are just full of them. Especially
They should be, though.
Yeah. And especially in a cyberpunk setting where, you know, physics is so malleable. And this is an establishment that is more or less a center of power for several types of supernatural, so who the fuck knows? Yeah. So yeah, that's happening. Do you partake of any hospitality while you're here and the room is you more or less have the tavern almost to yourselves and have full run of the kitchen and the bar?
I'll definitely have a drink after Klaus's little display earlier.
Yeah. Justine like pulls out the glowing blue bottle of Wolf moonshine. She's like, "You want this?" Because she knows you. She's like, "Are you okay? Do you need this?"
I have shot. I'm on duty.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
I don't know how alcohol works. I'm sorry.
I think I would like some too.
Yeah.
The Wolf Moonshine was fun for me last time I did it.
Did Dune let us know that Val was not the head of that? Oh yeah, that's why we're investigating the doctor.
We questioned her in the taxi cab. We all heard the answer she gave Petruchio, actually.
Sorry, it's been a minute. My brain is a little foggy. Okay. Yes.
Justine is like, so do you all want, everyone have menus. I mean, you're here all the time, but like, have whatever you want or order whatever you want. I mean, unless you're still working on stuff, but like, hang out.
I don't know that we need to do anything more today, so. Petruchio, do you have anything else for us?
Like, nothing till tomorrow.
Fair enough. In that case, I'll take a glass of moonshine.
Yep, so she will pour whatever drinks, fruity otherwise, and the kitchen is like, oh, it's you guys. So yeah, it's nice having a nice neighborhood establishment where they know you.
Aye.
So yeah, it's a party. I'll have a nice time in a nice tavern.
And this is so. Klaus, did you find anything out about the drug?
I don't know, did I? I was waiting for the opportunity to get back to that, and this is a great moment to do that. So
I was role-playing too hard. Okay. Yeah, so as you're analyzing and you're in science/magic mode, so you definitely get a sense when you kind of scan it, the spheres that ping are will definitely matter because everything is chemistry. For some reason, also fate.
Interesting.
So, but from chemical analysis, because matter. Well, actually, no. And also, did I give you Prime? No, I did
No.
not. So, but yeah, so you at least get a sense that, okay, I will say, yes, goblin, there, it looks like some kind of, maybe goblin fruit, or maybe, like, something else, some other kind of, this looks very, like, it's pulverized into a very powdery, science-y looking, like, artificial kind of looking form. But what it was originally was some kind of, like, goblin fruit. Okay, so it also probably pings as life. Because, so it's like, you know, it's like someone took magic marijuana and turned it into a powdery white substance, or powdery pink glowy substance.
Okay.
Which is a little weird, because, you know, you've seen people smoke various magical hedge products, and they don't usually reduce it to such a fine form. But it is very meticulously manufactured from whatever organic / magical components make it up.
Okay.
So this was definitely like you'd suspect professional scientist, or at least professional equipment. You can't quite get the specifics on which goblin fruits, but you definitely, like, you know, at this point, that's a very familiar substance in this system to anyone who likes to party and has a science degree and or magic. So
Okay. I will do a more intense analysis of it later when I'm not in public.
yeah, and it seems to be cut with a form of powdered mushroom, which is I forget what it's called. It's used today in compounding pharmacies. So yeah, this is
cordyceps.
Cordyceps are a specific. I also take those, but that's a specific one. This is like a neutral mushroom that my compounding pharmacy uses for one of my weirder prescriptions, because #Spoonie life. I'll have to refill it on Monday, actually. Never mind. But yeah, so there are also, to complement those organic components, are some mundane organic components that are basically used, plus some, like, you know, sucrose, so powdered sugar.
So it tastes good.
For a bit of lift. Yeah, it tastes good.
I mean, Valerie also told us that Dr. Rabin was like a proper doctor, so like maybe you could anybody who knows anything about proper doctors and medicine might investigate that possibility.
And it's, you know,
no one has no idea. Werewolves are not doctors. They either heal or they die.
It's a very standard gelatin capsule. And you've seen people who aren't professional pharmacists who do that kind of thing, and it's a little messy, and this is very neat. So the more you investigate, like, you can't quite analyze entirely what it's made of, but you're definitely getting a sense of this is a professional, science-y person.
Okay.
But yeah, it is weird because, like, you know, there is the equivalent of hedge marijuana, but, like, why pulverize it into a powder form when you could smoke it or eat it or whatever is done? So
this also seems like a very unmellow weed.
It's all you do sense different component, like there's more than one hedge substance in here, and then it's all very meticulously portioned out. And the hedge might be why your fate senses are pinging, because hedgy and changeling stuff don't mix. Actually, if you want to make an occult intelligence occult roll for that.
13.
Okay.
So 2 successes.
Yeah. So there's a group of so order is the kind of the organization you choose, and Klaus doesn't have an order. Path is the kind of mage you are naturally. So there's another kind of path called the Acanthus, who are annoying as fuck, and in this town they are everywhere. They are masters of fate and time, And for some reason, there are so many more of them than other mages in this system. Like, you've noticed when you use fate magic, it's a little bit easier. So maybe that's why, but it's like... And you have noticed that fate sometimes comes in handy with dealing with changeling shit. You have maybe heard that... Yeah, I'd say you've heard the Acanthus mention that they have a connection to a place called Arcadia, but they're not changelings, so you're not sure if it's the changeling Arcadia. But all of these things seem to intersect and make the Acanthus very obnoxious. Oh my god, fate is annoying when you are not the fate mage.
They sound like real assholes.
They are. Yeah. Well,
in the world of darkness.
They might not be so bad if they weren't just like half the mages in the city were Acanthus, and it's like you just everywhere. Oh my god. Not getting exact physical compounds, or if this were an entirely synthetic or like mundane drug, I could give you would get exact molecules.
Yeah.
Or elements.
But this is changeling magic bullshit.
Yeah, bullshit is a great way to say it. So yeah, so you can pick out definitely more details even if you can't identify all of the exact substances in it.
Okay.
So, someone is mixing magic and science because that always goes well.
Sounds really dangerous, to be quite honest.
So yeah, do you share this with the team?
Yeah, when Dune asks me what's in it, I'll be like, magic bullshit. It seems to have some goblin fruit, but, I mean, among other things, I can't tell just by looking. The thing that's really interesting about it is that it's very meticulously put together. Like, this is a professional job. Somebody was using actual equipment to make these pills. Is this gelatin capsule? Don't see something this neatly made very often. So whoever this Dr. Rabin is, they're the real deal. They're an actual doctor, just like Valerie said.
The changeling thing is really worrying to me. Like, I have goblin fruit all the time, and I have never had anything happen like what happened to me the other day.
Okay, Presley, roll intelligence and occult.
Okay. Intelligence. So 2 plus 1. Okay. Please don't fail me, dice. 4 plus 3 is a 7.
Not quite success.
Okay. So yeah, so you're thinking about it, and you're trying to think about stuff along those lines that just doesn't quite meet up.
Were you drinking with the rest of us?
Yes.
Maybe you're hitting the moonshine a little hard. But also, like, this is so, like, you feel like you're forgetting something,
Okay.
rather than you're completely sure of the wrong thing, which is what happens when you botch.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a feeling that there's something more to this that you just can't quite put your finger on it right now.
Is there...
Well, what happened to you when you took it?
I got I guess it was a hallucination of a woman who looked exactly like me, had my name, who was trying to take over my life again. And I got pulled into the hedge, and I was surrounded by fire thorn, and it felt really, really real.
I don't like the qualifier again in that sentence.
I don't either.
Is someone trying to take over your life and looking like you and having your name something that happens to you very regularly?
I'm a changeling.
And I'm a wolf blood.
Do you not know how changelings happen?
I know how changelings happen, but I don't see them trying to replace each other very often.
Exactly. This happened. Okay. I don't want to be taken to the hedge again, or I don't want to be taken to Arcadia again. Already happened once.
Fair enough. That's not actually true, Freddy, or that is not how that works.
What?
You'd think, but no.
What doesn't work that way?
Oh, Freddy says when a mommy changeling and a daddy changeling love each other very much. No, changelings are humans taken to Arcadia and then tortured into new shapes.
Yeah.
This is Changeling the Lost. The other system that works in Changeling the Dreaming, but not Lost is very different.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, I'm not going back to Arcadia. I don't want to do that. That was bad. Them's was bad times.
Sorry, that's out of character knowledge. Dun's a wolf blood, and he knows wolf country, and he doesn't know much about changelings, except for what Presley has told him. So, I'll take your word for it. I can't say that I'd want to go back to my home either.
Presley.
It's not my home.
So Presley, changelings don't have as strict rules about telling people stuff as werewolves do. If you want to explain a little bit more.
Yeah.
Also, there's just so many changelings in this town that it's impossible to keep these things secret anyway.
Arcadia is not my home. How do you think changelings happen?
Well, I presume a bit like werewolves. They're born or they're made. But I don't know how you make a changeling. I presume you don't go about biting people on the neck, face and neck.
Okay. So there is no one that is born a changeling. The only way that changelings happen is that something comes and takes you and leaves something that looks exactly like you. And that thing takes your life. Takes over your life. Well, you are taken to a place called Arcadia, which is basically a hell zone. You are then used for whatever purpose that thing that has taken you wants. Sometimes you get off lucky and you get to be a butler or, a run-of-the-mill servant. Sometimes you're turned into a candle where you are constantly on fire. Sometimes you're turned into an animal that they chase in a hunt. It's not a good time. It's not a place that anyone wants to be. And if you are very, very lucky, like I have been very, very lucky, you escape. So yes, seeing someone that looks exactly like me, saying that their name is my name, and listing off my job as their job is very troubling.
I can see how it would be. And I can see why there are so many changelings in the city. Probably for the same reason there are a lot of wolf blood. Don't want to go home. Well, home is here now. And I don't want to go back to what I was.
There are a lot of us here who don't want to go back to where we came from.
Welcome to Eden. Sorry. So, still, you have to wonder why the drug would work so well on other changelings and then do badly for you yourself. After all, I would not say that all changelings are affected in the same way by... Oh, they all are. By goblin fruit, as far as I'm aware. It's the regular people who can eat some of it and not be helped, and then eat others of it and just have the worst time of their lives without actually going to Arcadia or Wolf Country.
Well, what's the point of the drug?
What's
Is
the
this
point of any drug, Klaus?
okay?
It's supposed to be a stimulant.
If this is a doctor who is trying to distribute this drug specifically to changelings, and it affected me so badly, could this be something that is meant to harm us?
That is definitely something to consider. Especially considering how we've only seen two, I guess, cases of people being on this drug, and they've both been not what you should be getting out of taking drugs.
Exactly.
Especially one that's being marketed as a stimulant. This is supposed to give you a good time, and it's clearly not.
It's a stimulant and a low grade
Psychotropic.
Psychedelic.
I was going to say psychotropic is something very different.
Okay.
So it's like a low grade. It's
Hallucinogen?
yeah. It's like a low grade acid and a mild stimulant. So in some of those cases, so Klaus, since you did, all the magics, you definitely get a sense of this is supposed to give your life a happy glow.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see, and based on things that Klaus has been on that maybe do this without magic, there are some low-grade acids and such that, will give everything kind of an enhanced feeling of just in everything. Like, the highs are highs, the lowers are lows. The shadows are darker, the lights are brighter. And that can be really fun and stimulating. But, yeah, sometimes if it's too much, then you go on a more extended trip. Again,
ahead. Your next stop, the Twilight Zone.
So by what you're saying, it sounds more like Presley just took too much for what she could handle.
Or just got a bad dose, or maybe it's different for changelings. Maybe because there's goblin fruit in it.
It sounds like it interacts with Presley the same way that goblin fruit interacts with 1 in 5 people, regular ones. Because some people have a time on goblin fruit. Some people have, what happens when you take too much allergy medication,
Klaus, give me an intelligence occult roll. We'll say it's int occult. Even though it's kind of... It could also be medicine or science, but those are all really high, I think, for you, so...
Yeah, they are all 4 and 5. Occult is the lower of all of them, but that's okay.
We'll say it's occult.
Okay. So it's a 12, so 2 successes.
Okay, Klaus, you've at this point seen changelings do the kind of okay, this is a thing that's supposed to enhance my senses and experience of the world. And you give them, or you see them take a dose that for a regular human would do that, but for something about changelings, whether it's their brains or the physiognomy or something, sometimes a changeling will take something that should be a chill, slow, easy trip, and they just go bonkers.
Hmm.
I mean, the vampire also lost his shit. So.
And you've seen changelings go bonkers, and then seem extra broken by the experience, compared to a regular human or just a non-changeling. So you've noticed changelings, sanity and reality are very important to changelings. Almost in the same way that secrecy is super important to werewolves.
Mm-hmm.
So... and kind of to vampires. And the same way that controlling everything around them is important to vampires.
Ah!
So,
wow, am I the only one here who doesn't have, an ingrained cultural obsession?
yeah, they're literally obsessions for mages. Its obsession, mages, its obsessions, and being an asshole to everyone else.
Got it.
Werewolves. Family stories are okay. Pack stories are for pack. You know.
One of the you would know a bit more because you're a wolf blood, but
Oh my god.
Werewolves can actually lose morality for telling people secrets of werewolf life, including the laws of the people and their stories and their powers. You know a surprising amount of stuff about a werewolves for someone who isn't a werewolf.
Yeah.
Especially when werewolves cast rituals, the stat they use is their morality. Yeah. So it's like, we really can't talk about Fight Club because it will hurt our souls.
Yeah. But Wolfbloods don't quite suffer quite the same thing. And also, Dune loves telling stories of the shitty things that his sisters and stuff did to them. Those aren't secrets. Those are, they pushed me down the well or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
Also, yes, werewolves are apparently allergic to the internet. Like silver.
Any of your team ever heard you say Orum Dutakus in that vile or Mogulis way? You're not allowed to tell them what it means.
Mm-hmm. Nope.
So anyway.
I gave up asking a long time ago.
Yeah. It's also
once when I was new and you gave me a scary look that said, I can't tell you, and I was like, okay, we're done here.
If there's one thing Dune is good at, it's intimidation.
We've got about 10 minutes left.
With it.
Okay.
We've got about 10 minutes left of game, so I would like to see more of this wonderful role play for the rest of our 10 minutes, because it's not quite enough time to go into the next thing.
Okay.
Okay.
So
we've established that Arcadia is a shitty place, and you don't want to go back there. And this drug made you think that perhaps it would. However, I don't know that this drug would have anything to do with that, because I'm not sure quite of the spheres of magic and all of that. That's not really my purview. I'm not that kind of werewolf, as it were. The spiritual world is not mine, it's my aunt's. But I know that...
I'll put it in the... Technically, you're not a werewolf at all.
I know, but Wolfbloods also have the spiritual... I did read the book.
Okay.
I read the book, okay? This is in the Wolfblood section in the book. Okay. I will tell it to you later, but yes, this is part of it. So, I am very much of the physical world, and I don't know much about the spiritual one, or in that matter, magic in general. But I know that it comes in different flavors sometimes. I don't know what kind of magic is in this sort of thing, and I don't really intend to find out the hard way. Klaus, did you happen to notice anything specific beyond changeling magic about this drug, as it were?
Oh, well, I mean, the weirdest thing that showed up when I looked at it was the Ping's fate sphere, and that is probably something associated with the hedge. But if it makes you feel better, Presley, I do think that your experience was just a hallucination brought on by the drugs. I mean, I don't know for certain, but I have seen other more pedestrian drugs of this type affect changelings specifically in worse ways than other people.
But this is a drug that is specifically being touted to changelings. This isn't a drug that's just out there and, you know, there's a little like, hey, this might affect changelings differently. This drug is for changelings. That's what they are specifically saying.
Yeah, and that is something to be concerned about, but
I don't know that that's true. I believe what Valerie said was that you should try and market it to changelings more because it affects them more, but that I believe she's been peddling it to regular people. And Valerie, as far as my nose can tell, is not particularly supernatural in her own self.
But what about Dr. Rabbit?
Now that I don't know.
Don't know yet.
The fact that this is so well manufactured and it's so meticulously made, and that it is a doctor that's doing this, not just some, guy off the street. It's a little worrying. And bad things happen to changelings if we're put into a situation that compromises our minds. So this is something that very easily could hurt people.
Right. Something that would perhaps, you do remember what it was that drove the core worlds to outlaw supernaturals in the first place, correct?
Yes.
It was supernaturals being used by forces outside of their control. Now, I don't know that this drug would force them to do such things as were forced upon them by the other otherworldly, other planarly forces that did it for the core worlds. But the silent.
But what about that vampire?
No, that was all supernaturals. It was not just vampires. It happened to werewolves, and
I know. The vampire 2 days ago.
Mm.
The vampire earlier today.
The vampire earlier today.
There. But what I am saying is that its effects may not just damage the reputation of the supernatural in this world. It might push some sentiments close to that of the core for supernaturals taking actions which are outside the bounds of their morality for some, control for others, but that would reflect unfavorably on supernaturals on the whole, if you take my meaning.
Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly. So could this Dr. Raven be part of the organization that's trying to push supernaturals out?
I will say that the specimens of that organization that I have encountered thus far do not seem to have the intelligence to think of such a thing, nor the gumption, to use a vernacular, to pull it off. They seem to be more of the assholes who would egg someone's house or stand in front of it, behaving like assholes, than any particularly concerted effort to try and get rid of the person who is offensive to them, not necessarily the person who is offending them. Though, if they keep it up, they will eventually piss off somebody who will deal with them in a fashion befitting their actions that they will not enjoy. And I, for one, hopefully they catch it on camera. But it's those people and that organization in particular do not seem to be the sort of people who would put an actual doctor and the money for one up to developing a drug designed to try and push the supernatural into actually hurting people and places.
I wouldn't totally rule that out as an option, though.
Fair.
Exactly.
But I would say the people we've seen so far are not the ones doing it.
It's true. The idiots in the park were definitely not the ones behind this, but doesn't mean there aren't others who hold the same views and are smarter.
A fair and just point, especially given that Idun as a planet has a lot of undeveloped, according to others, potential, though it is very full of people who would say that it is developed as far as it needs to, and it would do best to stay as it is, with a 50 miles of city and the rest of countryside. So if someone from the core worlds was trying to get cheap land to develop, pushing all the supernaturals out. Almost unenforceable, but, you know, someone might be stupid enough to try. And this would be step one. On the other hand, it could just be a medical professional down on their luck in requirement of some extra cash very quickly. And I believe, though I do not know if you would think so, I do believe that Valerie was overcharging you quite a lot for the amount that she gave you. And
I mean, probably.
Yes.
Fair. So I don't know how much profit Dr. Evan will be making directly from the sales of the drug, but it would be a fair amount, depending on the overcharge. So it could be something larger, it could be as simple as needing money. Petruchio.
Suppose that's why we gotta look into it, isn't it?
I believe so, although I believe our esteemed leader has a more direct mandate about the sort of thing that's going on.
Esteemed leader, that's your cue.
For what? Sorry, I'm building dice towers with my virtual dice roller.
Be like, yeah, didn't you get a message from, like, Carthian? No, Tilda. That one. The other one. The other vampire.
Klaus wouldn't actually know her name.
Okay.
You
I made a
know
note of it, so I
the
didn't remember
prince.
whether or not I would know about that in character.
Klaus probably aware the prince is a big deal in the vampire circles and is
Okay.
not someone you piss off.
Mm-hmm.
Mages have something a little similar. I forget offhand what the name is because now I have a headache too. But like the mages have like kind of like a president of the mages, or a I'm the leader of the mages, and anyone who wants to tell me otherwise, fight me. Like it depends on the city.
Okay.
In Eden, it was more likely a vote. But also with no term limit. So there's like a head mage who does something, but mage politics are all over the place because mages are all over the place.
Yeah.
Vampires sound a little more organized.
And
So-
werewolves be my aunt in the city, and then outside it's whoever's the top of the food chain, literally.
Yeah, werewolves, it's more like who has the most status points? Is it me? It's me. All right, I'm the leader, or fight me.
Yeah.
And that's how that goes. Werewolves do not vote.
We vote with our teeth. They vote with their teeth, sorry.
With their punches. Yeah.
So I will amend my statement because I do know that Petruchio did in fact tell us that he got a message saying that it was his job to look into it, to say, didn't you get a message from like your prince or some shit saying that we needed to look into this, or that you needed to look into this, so we're all dragged into?
Yes, did we fulfill, like, can I tell the prince that we fulfilled, or we took a step, we found the supplier we're looking for?
The source.
And the source.
Yeah, you can tell them that. And then you'll get a text message back saying, let me know when you've fixed the problem. Period.
It feels good to do, like,
Yeah.
an end of the day update, like,
Status update.
I think we're not just, like, ghosting the most powerful vampire in the galaxy.
That's fair.
A daily check-in does seem like a very good plan.
On the other hand, creatures that live for centuries don't always need daily updates, but, you know, let's err on the side of caution. Yeah, and not ghost one of the most powerful beings possibly in the system. Powerful in what way, you ask? Oh, if you only knew. Ain't no prince like an Invictus prince. Oh yeah. So it's 10:01. So yeah. So I've now officially written too much plot for 2 game sessions, and I am very happy about that. Weirdly.
Yay.
So yay, and yay! I love let's put in the variable and see what form of dark world of darkness paranoia takes over first. But what if it's these guys? What if it's that?
Friend computer. No.
Oh man.
Friend computer.
Ooh. This is freaking Pricely out like a shit ton.
Well, changelings are naturally the most paranoid of the paranoid. So, and hey, computer is your friend. Their name is Orchard. And they're everywhere.
Oof,
But that's just because of good city planning.
That's not unsettling at all. Okay.
Anyway, so
Okay.
yeah, players, thank you for playing. It has been a fun game for me.
It was a fun session.
Yeah, hopefully fun for everyone else as well.
Yeah. Exposing all my lack of knowledge of clubs and how things I don't even know. Man.
Yeah.
So yeah. It's hard being from the wolf country.
Yeah. I mean, I've been here for 67 years. You'd think I'd know by now.
Well, it's sometimes it's just not your scene.
Didn't just fall off the apple cart, but yeah.
Eden City caters to a lot of tastes, and when you've got your specific taste, you just stick with that.
Yeah.
And Saga's a really nice Cheers-style supernatural bar with a whorehouse in the back, and everything's fine.
Yes.
Nothing dirty going on.
Never. Cyberpunk. What? How could anything be going on behind the scenes in Cyberpunk? Lol. Anyway, so I was your storyteller for this evening, like most evenings, but maybe not all evenings going forward, depending on our scheduling for the next several weeks. Because 4th of July is next weekend, and then a few weekends after that is Gen Con, and we're probably just not going to stream that night because we 3 on the top of this screen are going to be really tired. But, I guess if you want to be in our games at Gen Con Online, because it is free.
Oh.
And
the badge to Gen Con Online is free. The tickets to the events are, I believe, still cost money, but not as much as if they were in person. If I read their emails correctly.
Okay, yeah.
I think that's
the Gen Con website. Gen Con probably has all of this up on a handy website that I am not looking at right now. So yeah, I guess if we go do our parting goodbyes. Klaus, because you're right next to me.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Hi, I'm Dracus. I've played Klaus. I used magic tonight. That's about that. If you want to find me on social media, Discord and Instagram are the only ones I really use, and I am actual Dracus on both of those. So, yeah.
Okay, Dune.
Yep. I'm Merc or Mercworky, depending on if I've changed my nickname or not. I played Dune, the Welsh Wolfblood. You can find me on the Discords mostly. I have other social medias, but I don't use or check them very often. So just look for me on the Discord. I'll be there. And the only plug I have is for Gen. If you want to play my game, play it at Gen Con. But otherwise, I spend most of my time watching Zombie Orpheus Entertainment on weeknights. So you can also find me there most nights, except for Tuesdays because of another thing. But if you want to hit me up, I'm also on Twitch at those times. And I mean, by on Twitch, I mean I am typing on Twitch, talking. I don't stream, but not by myself.
In the chat. Many puns in the chat.
Hey.
Right, Petruchio.
Puns, dad jokes, and dirty jokes, depending on who's playing.
Yeah.
I'm Maya. I'm playing Patricio. I'm here and not much anywhere else.
That's fine. Yay! Hello. And Presley.
Hi, I am Sunburst. I was Presley. If you want to see photos of my cat and various things that I have baked, you can follow me on Instagram at Sunburst Splendor. But I don't have that much of a presence online. That might be changing soon. Who knows?
So your pet is the sourdough starter, and you are the majestic floof's pets. I think is how the pecking order in your household goes.
The majestic floof is my daughter. Yes, she is my child. She's very majestic and very floofy. But yeah, if anyone wants photos of her, my Instagram.
And if you want to follow me at Ms. Chrysla on the Twitters, I do my best to keep people reminded that this is happening. We have a Discord to organize because that means less cat herding for me in general. But I do try to post on social media, and I don't always make it because brain fog sucks. And summer makes it worse. But we can escape to magical cyberpunk land where there is worse evil afoot. Or not.
At least different evil that we can do something about.
Yeah.
That's really all it comes down to.
The local New York City game that uses this system or this venue, we basically had a Marxist revolution and won. And it was so nice. It's like, occupy Caldera! And we won! And it was great! And we felt so good. And then we looked back at it reality and we're like,
oh,
why can't we be reality bending mages in real life?
Alas.
Alas. We totally fixed things for the better because, yeah, why wouldn't we do that? Why wouldn't we be infallible if we were suddenly able to bend reality in real life?
Yeah.
So many layers there. Okay. So summer brain fog sucks. Yes. All right. So thank you, viewers, for watching. If you're watching this VOD later, thank you also for watching our VOD. This may or may not be up on YouTube eventually. I still don't quite know what I'm doing about that. But I am successfully remembering to save all of our streams in video form somewhere. So they are not
lost into the void of the internet.
Not yet, at least. So, fingers crossed. So yeah, we will be here. Same Welsh Batman time and same Welsh Batman channel. I don't know if that clip is still on our Twitch page. Feel free to look for it. Yes, and so when it's like you're around, so you're supposed to be one of the scariest people in the entire city. Oh, you're Welsh. I could do this. Yes, I can do a bad Welsh accent. This will be awesome. Yes, and I am the goddamn Batman. So yes. And we are the goddamn Exit to Eden players and broadcast. Thank y'all for coming, and I hope y'all can make it next week or the week after that, depending on what we're doing. Good night, everybody. Be safe. Be as happy as you can.